Iconic is one of the largest DirecTV dealers, and the big part of our program is we work with newer companies like Simulcast. So our job is to provide all the back office support, the technicians, the equipment, all that stuff that as sales guys, we don't want to do. You want to focus on recruiting and managing and training and selling and building and growing. That's what our skill set is. So we provide all that boring stuff so you guys can focus on the good stuff. And then my job, I'm the VP of sales for Iconic. I help Robert help you guys. So my job is to support Robert with whatever he needs as far as training materials, ideas on area, training techniques, how to recruit, things like that. I'm here to help Robert help you guys grow Simulcast. So we're loving the partnership. We have about 30 companies that work within our umbrella, and Simulcast is either first or second every single month. So very, very exciting. We have a big 3 of our 30, and you guys have been in that a lot lately. So stoked about big things with you guys, and that's even before you launch your summer. So the other teams do a lot of year-round stuff. They do a lot of blitzes. So I don't think that their numbers are going to spike that much in the summer. Whereas I think with Simulcast, you guys have this big, beefy summer team. I think you guys will kill it. I think you guys have a big summer coming up, and I think you guys will definitely be number 1 with what Robert's got going, and then with you guys doing a summer team, I think you guys will kill it. So I am stoked to be here today. Just a little bit about me. So I am married. I married a beautiful, sexy Australian, and she has an accent. And I'm very excited about that. So, been married for about 4 years, coming up this month, April 27th. Just had my first baby. His name is Archer, but she calls him Acha, which is very, very cute. So we were going through a baby book, just listing off names, and I was driving, and she was reading off names, and she got to Acha, and I said, yes. Acha. So we didn't get very far. We got into the A's, and that's it. But I heard it, and I knew that was my baby. So little boy, he's doing good. He's 3 months. He was born on New Year's Eve, so that's exciting. Every year he'll have a super sick birthday party. It'll be a Acha New Year's Eve bash. So you're all invited. It'll be fun. But excited about that. He's starting to laugh now on purpose. So that's a lot of fun. I get to play with him, and he laughs. So I'm enjoying that quite a bit. Hobbies, I love playing golf. So growing up, I played basketball and football like everybody else did. I tore both my ACLs and then gained 50 pounds, not of muscle. And I said, well, I can't do that anymore. So what can I do? And I took a recruit golfing, and I loved it. So normally when I do recruiting, you take him out to dinner or lunch, and you're like, hey, where do you want to go? And he's like, let's go to Tucanos. And you're like, okay, Tucanos, cool, let's go. So you go there, you eat food, you talk in between bites. It seems kind of forced, seems kind of rushed. So I initially got into golf because we go out there, and I've got him stuck for 2 hours. He can't leave, and we get to chat in between holes and playing. So it started off for kind of like a recruiting tactic for me, and I just came to love golf. So that's my biggest hobby now. A little bit about my life story. I'm from Washington, D.C., did my mission in SoCal, and had never heard of door-to-door sales before. My bishop of my last area owned a pest company, pest control. And he was like, hey, come back and sell pest control door-to-door. No. That sounds stupid. I'm not going to do that. So I was like, thanks for the offer. So then I went to BYU, and as you guys know, everybody and their dog has done summer sales in Utah. And I was like, well, I guess that's a real job. So I'll go back to California, visit some people that I met on my mission. It'll be fun. So I did that for 4 years, every summer during college. I didn't take it super seriously. It was a summer job for me. I went to California. I had fun, I made decent money, we went to the beach, sat in the hot tub, went into LA. It was more of a fun social job for me, and I really enjoyed it. But I never viewed it really as a career. It was a summer job for me. So what I went to school for, I wanted to do branding. I wanted to do product and program development. So my dream job was working for a company like Nabisco. I got pretty far down the interview process with Nabisco, and they would say, hey, we have a new product, it's this cookie or this chocolate bar, whatever it is, and then I would develop a program around branding that product. So I loved that. I love doing that. That's what I like. I like looking at things and making a program around something. The problem with that was all the jobs were in pretty major cities, mostly LA, San Diego, Chicago, New York, San Francisco. And those are expensive cities to live in. Big time expensive cities. And all those jobs paid 40, 45K a year. And I remember just thinking, like, I make more than that, like in the summer knocking on doors. I'm not gonna graduate college and take a pay cut. Like, that's ridiculous. So I was thinking, what am I gonna do? I have this door knocking skill set. It's not really a career. What do I do with it? And then a guy that I know hit me up and he was like, hey, I'm starting a DirecTV company. Why don't you come join me? You can be my VP of sales. And I was like, all right, so it's like a startup. And he was like, yep, we'll just build it. And I was like, well, all right, like that's what I want to do. I like to build things. So we did that for 2 years. It was called Beacon Marketing. So the Bullseye was the pest company I did. So Beacon Marketing, I'm grateful for my time there. It got me into TV. And I'm sure you guys have heard Robert say this, it's just TV, man. When you knock on a door, just be the TV guy. And I've really embraced that pitch, just be the TV guy. It's TV, it's television, it doesn't have to be stressful. You don't have to pressure the customer. Hey, it's TV, keep it light. So I really embraced that at Beacon Marketing. We did that for 2 years, we grew really fast. The problem that we encountered was Beacon didn't have any help. We were our own company, we were our own dealer, and we grew too fast. We didn't have the space to grow. So we didn't have enough room for more call center reps. We didn't have enough technicians. We didn't have an office big enough to hold boot camps or to have trainings. Like, we grew too quickly. So I went to the owner and I said, hey, like, we're growing really fast. We did 4,000 accounts this year. Let's get a bigger building. And he basically said no. He was like, I don't really want to grow that much. Let's just keep doing what we're doing. And I said, well, no, like, I'm not going to do that. Like, if you're unwilling to work with me and scale, I got to go. So I quit. I called DirecTV, and that was actually a stressful time for my wife and I. We had just bought a house, and I was like, hey, babe, I'm gonna quit my job. I know we have this house, this mortgage. I'm quitting my job. I'm doing my own company. And she was like, cool. So I trust you. Don't ruin our lives. So I started Empire Satellite. I got my own DirecTV dealer, and I loved it. I had the freedom to do whatever I wanted to do, but it was tough. The overhead is incredibly expensive. Equipment is rough. That sucks cash flow faster than anything in the world. Office space, hourly people to run call centers, someone to do retention, answer the phones, call customers back. A lot of this stuff adds up. Payroll, HR. To really be a good sized company and to give you guys support, you need to have those positions filled full time. So I was just getting smoked on overhead. We were doing good volume, but the overhead was killing me. So I ended up saying, hey, I gotta find a better solution for this. So within DirecTV, there's a program called Opportunity Knocks. Some of you guys know what that means, but there's 5 big companies. I went to those 5 and said, hey guys, I want to run my deals through you. Can I use your call center? Can I use your equipment? Like, I'm getting killed. So I met with all of them, and I just liked Iconic the best. The owner of Iconic, his name is Jamie Stagg, excellent guy. I just felt comfortable with him. I felt like he had integrity. I felt like he was family. So I chose Iconic, started running my deals through them. They provided all that back office support. It went really good for about a year. And then Jamie said, hey, this is working pretty good. Why don't you go and build a program around this idea? And I said, yes, that's what I want to do. So I ended up disbanding Empire. Some of the guys rolled into Iconic. Some of them graduated, went on to their other careers and jobs. But we started doing this program around February of 2015. And we had one dealer in our program. It's been 13 months, and we have about 32. So we've grown this program incredibly quick. And it's because the program works. It works for you guys, it works for us, works for Robert. And lets Robert run his own company. Simulcast is his own brand. You guys do your own thing. You sell how you want, you recruit how you want, you do your own thing. We just provide that boring stuff. So equipment, call center, technicians, things like that. And then my job is to help Robert kind of scale, grow, do sales stuff. So hopefully that kind of gives a little bit of background on kind of how we do things. I'm gonna grab a water really quick. Is this for me right here? Yep. I'm gonna snag this one. So how do I build a super dope program? Step one, make your team super dope. That's it. There's no more steps to this program. It's not hard. Think about it. If you guys all made good money and had an excellent time, would you guys stay? Yeah. Right? You all made good money, you had a great time, you had fun, you'll stay. Pretty simple. There are some steps to this, so I'll kind of go through those a little bit. Culture by design is important. I always say either you decide your culture or it will be decided for you. So you have to design your culture. You have to have smooth systems. You have to love your team, own your market, and then I've got some best practices that I've done in the past that's been quite successful. So I'll kind of run through those with you guys. As far as culture by design, you have to have a strong culture and identity. There are probably almost 4,000 door-to-door direct TV dealers in the country. I don't know if you guys knew that. It's almost 4,000 of them. And how many can you guys name? 5? 6, 7? Like not that many. Because culture is the biggest difference between any old company selling direct TV and one that grows, one that scales, one that can build. You gotta have a culture. Just to give you guys an example, the iconic motto is empower yourself, empower others. So our mission is to help our employees turn a job into a career. We will do this through our motto, empower yourself, empower others. So whenever I'm doing recruiting, I reference this because it's part of our culture. So when I met Robert, I'm empowering Robert to run his own company. I give him the skill sets to run his own company. I empower him to do that, and in turn, he becomes empowered. He empowers himself. He now empowers you guys. I've heard Robert say multiple times that his business is people, and I love that. I think that's excellent. So he is empowering you guys to be excellent and to grow and to be a part of something special. So you have to know kind of what your guys' mission statement is. And I know Robert wants to work with you guys and put that together, but once you guys have that nailed down, you have to reference that. Like that has to mean something. You can't just have, oh, our mission is this, and then never refer back to that. So once you guys pick and make these culture plans, you have to reference them, you have to use them. Our ABC values, I think it's good to be very simple with these. I know a bunch of companies have like 8 values, and I've asked employees, hey, what are your values? And they can't name all 8 of them. So I've picked 3 that I think are really important. I picked accountability, balance, and character. We call them our ABCs. So accountability, a lot of people view accountability as when you say you'll do something, you do it. And that's true. That's part of accountability. But I like to look at it more so of being accountable to people. So I am accountable to Robert to provide him with whatever he needs. When Robert tells me, hey, I'm going to have a summer team, we're going to go out, I need 2 technicians or 3 technicians. I'm holding Robert accountable to that. He told me he's going to do that. I'm going to hold him accountable to that. He's going to hold you guys accountable to your commitments. When you guys make commitments, you have to come through with them. You have to be held accountable. Without accountability, there's no consequences, there's no growth. Without accountability and structure, there's no growth. And another really big part of accountability is just trust. I mean, if Robert doesn't trust you guys, if you guys don't trust Robert that he'll pay you, are you going to work hard next week? Probably not. You guys hold Robert accountable to his commitments. He's going to pay you on time. He's going to provide technicians. He's going to get good housing. And in turn, Robert will hold you guys accountable to your commitments. I'm going to work every day. I'm going to take a break when we have breaks scheduled. Accountability is a two-way street, and we're really big on accountability with Iconic. Number 2 is balance. I talk a lot about this with goals. I think goals are good. It's good to have sales goals. It's good to say, hey, I want to sell 200 accounts. I want to make 40 grand, whatever it is. It's good to have those goals. But you need to have other goals in your life. You need to have balance in your life. If your whole life is knocking on doors, I got a news flash for you. It's not the funnest job in the world. You're going to get burnt out. You're going to end up hating it. I see it every day. Have other goals. Pick some personal goals. I want to read Grant Cardone's 10X book. Good, go read that. Maybe you didn't get a sale today, but you read 3 chapters of that book and you feel better. You feel empowered. Have a physical goal. I want to lose some weight. I've got a little bit chubby being married. I want to lose 40 pounds. So I go to the gym almost every day and I try and work out. I struggle a little bit because I'm not a big worker-outer, but I'm trying to do it. But I have a goal. So if you guys have a goal, I want to hit a new personal record in bench today. Maybe you only got 1 sale, but you had a great workout that morning. You hit a new personal best. You now hit a goal. Your brain is a machine. Once you set goals and you hit them, you become more accustomed to that. So the more often you guys set goals and hit them, the better you will become at hitting other goals. Start off small. Hey, I want to hit 1 sale today. Cool, I got it. I want to hit 2 sales today. Cool, I got it. I want to hit 5 next week. Got it. Now I want to hit 8 next week. Don't come in week 1 and have a goal of 25 sales. You're not going to do it. It's a big goal. Get your brain accustomed to hitting goals. Your brain's a machine. The more goals you set, the more that you hit, the better you'll do. It's just a fact of life. So have sales goals, have spiritual goals. If you guys are LDS or not, or spiritual, read your scriptures, do some prayers, talk to your parents, do some things that you guys can have control over that make you successful. The more things you're successful at, that will breed more success. So balance is really key with us. Last one is character. For those that have been in this industry for a long time, what would you say is the average level of character for door-to-door sales reps? Is it high?
Maybe 5, 6.
5 out of 10, 6? It's not that high. Character within our industry is pretty low. Why do you guys think that is? Money? This job pays way too much money. For kids your age making this kind of money, it's insane. What else? You can make money and still have good character.
I think it's bad training, man. I mean, just being trained on, hey, this is how you do this job, you know? And it's okay, you can just say this. That's fine. You just say that. Yeah, that's totally acceptable. You know, it's just kind of bred in the culture.
Yeah.
I just consider leadership.
Leadership.
Yeah, being in sales most of my life, I've quit jobs on day 1 because of what they wanted me to do and what they wanted me to say that I knew wasn't true and it didn't meet my values. And that's the sales industry.
It's true.
They'll spin a yarn and make a sale. Doesn't matter whether it's true yarn or not.
That's true. That's excellent. I've given this quite a bit of thought about why I think the character is so low. And I think it's because we allow it to be so low. There's money, there's training, there's leadership, but we've allowed it to become of low character. If you guys demand character, you'll get it. I've gone to companies and they're like, hey, sell whatever you want. And I was like, all right, I will. And I had low moral character at times. If I had a boss that said, hey, you're only going to do these kinds of accounts, you're not going to sell fraud, you're going to be honest with all your customers, that's how we do things, I would do that. Character just goes back to what we allow. What do we expect? What do we demand of ourselves? What's Robert going to demand of you? Character is something that you can choose. If we demand strong, good character, people will respect that. When you guys are doing your recruiting and you say, hey, a big part of our company is character. We'll teach you guys the right way. We'll show you how to knock the right way. Guys respond to that really well. Sometimes it is about the money. When you guys are recruiting, I don't ever talk money. Ever. If they bring it up, I say, we'll talk about that later. My recruiting pitch does not discuss money at any point in time. I pitch this. I pitch who we are, what do we believe in. If you guys want to grow simulcast, if you guys want to grow teams and become regionals and divisionals and grow a real program for yourself, you need character. It's more important than money. It's more important than, hey, we got this super dope house and T-Pain's coming to our next weekend's throwdown party. That's why I freaking hate Vivint, man. I hate them. I was recruiting some guys one time, and then they were like, well, it's either you or Vivint, and then freaking Magic Johnson showed up and was like, come to Vivint, I'm Magic Johnson. I was like, what? So they did that, and then they called me the next summer because they hated it, and I got them the next summer. You're not gonna build long-lasting Magic Johnson, man. You're not gonna build long-lasting programs, and you're not gonna have successful long-term growth with tricks, with flair. You need core values. So you guys gotta get together, pick some stuff, but I encourage you to have character in your core values. I think that's a big-time, long-lost trait of our industry. Cool? I like it. Let's keep on going through culture by design. This is big for me. So anyone can say, oh yeah, these are our values. But if you don't do anything about it, it's not really a culture. So one of the things I always say is culture is aided by action. So Robert, testify. Iconic is exceptional at taking our top performers on sweet vacations. True.
Very true.
I have taken Robert on 3 vacations last year. We did Cabo. Yes, Manouche. Yes, yes, yes. We did a Denver Broncos game, Slashua, and then we did an all-inclusive resort, Slashua 2.0. So this is where our true bonds are formed. We now have inside jokes that we will always be best friends about. So you have to have a culture. I love vacations. I love going on trips. I'm a huge travel bug, so it makes sense that I'm gonna push that as part of my culture. So that leads me into my next slide here real quick. You have to love it. Like if I was like, hey, our culture is gonna be paintball, but I hate paintballing, that's a poor culture choice. So I threw down some trips, sports, high adventure, did a paintball, poetry readings, dance, like whatever your jam is, like you gotta have a culture that you guys do. Like doing team stuff together is critical in developing culture. I love vacations. Robert, if you guys are doing good, I'll take you guys on trips all freaking day. I love going on trips. I love vacations. Culture is more than just having some fun statements. Like, I don't want to hate on other companies, but there's a company where their motto is think big. Okay. What does that mean? How do they think big? It means nothing. Your culture means nothing if you don't stand behind it. Our motto of empower yourself, empower others, we truly act on that. Our whole goal is to not babysit Robert. I let Robert do whatever he wants to do. I give him skill sets, I give him abilities. I say, Robert, I will empower you to run your company the way that you want. I think that me empowering him to do that gives him that freedom. It shows the trust. He's now grown simulcast into a beast. He's gonna be most likely our biggest dealer out of 30. It's incredibly impressive for how young as you guys are. You gotta stand by your culture. It's gotta mean something. It's gotta be tangible. So as you guys are thinking about this, think of things that you guys love to do. Think of things that are really gonna get you. You've all heard the what's your why? You have to know what your why is. What do you guys think that means? What's your why?
It's a reason to do what you do.
But more than that. Jake.
It's when you aren't going to walk in outdoors anymore, what's going to get you out the next door.
True. Do you have an idea?
What propels you when things are really bad?
What's that, sorry?
It's what propels you to keep going when things are going really bad. You kind of think of, oh, when this is over, when I get through this, I'm going to do this.
True. All true. It's why you do things, knock on that next door when things are bad, all true. The biggest thing that I think is lost in finding your why is the passion behind that. You can say, yeah, I do this job for money, or I do this job so we can do missions, or I do this job for X, Y, and Z reasons. But if it's not gut-wrenchingly passionate to you, it's not really a why. So buying a new car is not a why. I've been knocking doors and I've said, hey, I will freaking give you a car to leave me alone and let me go home. I've been at that point where I will pay you money to let me quit. I didn't have a strong why. It's good to have goals. It's good to want a car. It's good to want things like that. But your why needs to be something that no one can take away. There's got to be passion. What drives me the most? And Robert knows this, but I always get super emotional when I talk about Archer. Like, being a dad is the greatest thing in the world. And I always do this every single time I talk about him. But being able to provide for him and to give him a good future is my why. And I get emotional about it because it's passionate to me. And I really need that. I could be out there knocking and you could say, hey, you get one more cell, I'll give you a TV. Or you could say, hey, I'll buy Archer a new crib. Like, that's gonna push me. So TB, Robert, those who are managers, you gotta find out what the real whys are of your team. And don't settle for, oh, I wanna go buy an Xbox. That's cool, go buy an Xbox. But when you're having a rough time, as a manager, as a leader, you gotta know what's really gonna get them going. If I'm having a rough day, and Robert called me and was like, hey man, like, Archer really is counting on you. I will knock until midnight. Like, that would get me going. That is my why. You guys have to know what your real passionate whys are. So give that some real thought before you guys go out this summer. And I promise you, having a real deep why will be the biggest thing you guys can do. So give that some real thought. But sorry, that was a super crazy tangent. But back to culture, you gotta be passionate about what you guys do, about who you are and what you are. So any questions about culture, about developing culture? Cool. All right, next thing is systems. And one thing I've learned about Robert is he is all about systems. He loves systems. So there's a variety of different sales programs that we can do, that you guys can do. A couple of the main ones, you've got year-round local, guys that live in their market and knock their market year-round. You've got year-round blitz. That's a lot of what Iconic does. We do a lot of blitzes. We do 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off, 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off all year. And then you've got summer sales, which is what you guys are about to do. All three programs have their merit. They're all different. There's pros and cons to all of them. Pick one or two, or even all three. Pick what's gonna work for individual people, but you gotta have systems to run your programs. No one is better than the other. Let's just kind of break through them briefly. Year-round local. You gotta have required knocking days and hours. If you live in your market, you gotta have structure. You can't just knock willy-nilly. Your production will not be there. But don't burn the guys out. You can't knock 6 days a week all year long. Like, you'll go crazy. I think 4 days a week, year-round, is aggressive. 3 or 4 days a week all year long, you can sustain that. Your production can be good with that. Required correlation days and times. I see far too many teams that do local sales year-round and they don't do correlations. And for those that do, they meet at Taco Bell or McDonald's. Hey, we'll meet at Burger King real fast before we go out today. That's not a correlation. It's not. Correlation needs to have the intangibles. It needs to have the energy. You're not gonna get that eating cheeseburgers at McDonald's. So get a real correlation room, rent out a hotel conference room for $50 once a week. That's going to be very, very impactful. Do that. Have incentives, competitions, those are critical. Usually we think about incentives as a summer team. Year-round guys need that too. And then involve them in all company activities. I like that Rich is here. Came from Texas. Good job, man. Where's the guy from Nevada? Where'd he go?
Not here, didn't make it.
Couldn't make it? Cool. It's good that Rich made it. He came out. What's that?
I wouldn't miss it.
Good. Year-round blitz, housing's really big on that. Like pick good housing. I've done blitz models where I've stayed at Super 8s and I had a room with one other dude. I hated it. There's no culture, there's no team bonding. So we always do houses every single time. Airbnb or VRBO houses. Find a house where everybody can fit. Get area demographics and leads. So those are really important. With AT&T buying DirecTV, there's a lot of opportunities there. There's a lot of bundle things going on. We're still sifting through logistical issues, but the opportunity is quite great there. I'm stoked about it. And then treat it like a summer. So for those of you guys that want to do this summer and then after the summer, maybe do some blitzes, do correlations every morning. Still do that. Have team dinners. So one of the biggest things we do is we go out, everybody knocks, they come home, and we have dinner together as a team. We take that time, we talk about the day, hey, who had a good day, who had a bad day, and just decompress. Just talk about it. Sometimes having a bad day when someone was mean to you, just talking about that is super helpful. So we'll do team dinners, and then we play games at night. So we'll bring board games, card games, someone will bring a PS4 or an Xbox. Like we do team bonding, and that's really important. And then inform your team. This is really critical. This is one of my special practices. We'll talk about more later. Inform your team of incentives and competitions. Give the winners their prizes as soon as they get back. Instant gratification is really important. Who's worked for a company where you did a bracket competition, you won a prize, and then never got that prize? I've had that happen a dozen times. I've seen it 1,000 times. Oh yeah, I won a TV in July, but then I might not come back on my share. Okay, well, we'll just keep your TV. That happens all the time. So Robert, instant gratification is key. When guys win a prize, give them their prize immediately. Ship it out to them. Or when they get back from their blitz, have it ready. Have everyone come to the office first day back. Da, 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 da. Here's your TV or here's your GoPro, whatever the prize is, make it a big deal, instant gratification. So a good way, and we'll talk about this later, but a good way to scale your company and your program is through blitzes and through instant gratification. If you guys have a team, you guys are all in Cedar City, you go on a blitz, everyone makes $3,000, you come back, 4 dudes won cool prizes. You put that on your Facebook page, Simulcast is the best. I won a TV, made $3K. And if you do that every other month or every other week, people will start to say, hey man, what the heck is your job? This looks sick. That's a good way to scale, but you need that instant gratification. It keeps you motivated, keeps you guys pumped up. And then last one is just the summers, which you guys are about to go do. So pick good markets, which I believe you guys have done. So Robert and I have talked quite a bit about where you guys are gonna go. I think your market's excellent. So it's one spot that I was looking at going, but Robert called dibs. So I backed off, but I think it's a great market.
Where?
Where you going, TV?
Northern Iowa and southern Minnesota.
Really good.
Sick.
Really, really, really good.
Excellent TV markets. Are you guys gonna do a little weekend down to Storm Lake?
Thinking about it.
Thinking about it?
He's out there.
A lot, lots of cool stuff. Lots of lakes, you know, I recommend going boating on one day.
Planning some dope stuff.
Cool stuff. If you guys are doing a lake day, let me know. I'll come out for it. So I'll chip in for some boat days on the lake.
Work on the beach pod.
I'll show you guys my diet. It's been going pretty good so far. So have good markets. I think you guys have done that. I think you guys are going to be good. Have set hours and daily schedules. This is really important. You gotta have schedule on your days. So whatever you guys have as your scheduled hours, you gotta work those. If you guys are feeling like, hey, I think these hours are hard for me, here's why, talk to TB about it. But don't just not go out that day. Or don't go to a gas station and sit there for 5 hours because you're too tired. Set a schedule. Schedules are key. Again, your mind is a machine. The more you set goals and hit them, the better you'll be. The more you get into your structure and your development, the more successful you'll be. Inconsistency is a massive killer of summer sales programs. You gotta be consistent and work with TB on the schedule. I talked to TB last night. There's a bunch of different schedule ideas. Whatever you guys end up picking, stick to it. Adapt as a team. No man left behind on schedules. Have meaningful correlations. Who can walk me through a good, structured correlation? Jake, give me a good, structured correlation.
I would say as far as things that I look out for in correlation is always on time. If you don't show up on time, you don't formally qualify for the incentives. That's just structure, getting out on time, everything like that.
Sure.
Normally I like to include some sort of, obviously instruction, answer questions. Reps are always going to run into stuff where they have questions. And then always motivation again is probably the most important part to get kind of that, if the whole goal is to want to go knock the first door. You know what I mean? Like, let's get on the doors, let's make it quick, let's do this. So I think motivation is a big thing. At the end.
Very true.
Well, throughout, but generally sometimes a video or a story or have a rep share something, delegate.
Okay, some good points in there. Motivation's key. I like delegations big. Especially for TB, as you managers are wanting to grow your reps into managers, delegate. Give them some responsibilities during correlation. Give Logan, he's in charge of motivation this week. Dane's in charge of product knowledge this week. Like, give some guys some jobs, give them some practice on running correlations. One thing that I found really impactful with correlations is the opening and the ending. You gotta do something really, really energetic. Otherwise, you got guys out there, they woke up late, you got the sleepy eyes, they're not really into the meeting. So pick an idea of what you guys think would be fun. I don't have rhythm, I can't chant, can't do it. So I like to scream and clap as loud as I possibly can for 5 seconds. So whenever I ran my teams, we'd get to meeting and we would go, ah! For 5 seconds, as loud as we could, make as much noise as possible. My hands are stinging, I hurt my throat. I'm awake now. I am okay, I'm awake, I'm no longer sleepy. That worked for me. If you guys wanna rap, I don't care. I've seen some guys do the circle thing and everyone goes, yeah, who are we? Simulcast. Whatever your jam's gonna be, do I've seen all that stuff. I can't do it. I always get thrown off. I'm super, super white. I can't do it. So whatever your jam's gonna be, start and end your meeting with some energy. That's really big. Do sales report, announcements. I always do one bit of product knowledge, one bit of sales knowledge, Q&A, motivation, set goals, scream, yell, go out the doors. So whatever you guys, TB and Robert, whatever you guys want your stuff to be, have a structure to your meetings and stick to them. But don't go too long. 45 minutes is probably about max. Anything longer than that, guys get bored. So 30, 45 minutes is about good times. I love incentives. Incentives and competitions for me are really big. I think it's good for guys to feel that drive. So I like to do them, not every day, but I'll do daily incentives. I'll do weekly, monthly, summerly, one-on-one team battles, bracket style. Do you guys do Thursday throwdowns? You know what that is at all? So I loved Thursday throwdowns. So let's say it's Thursday and I'll start. So I get up and I say, Richard Heek, I'm calling you out today, brother. And it's throwdown, you and me, and then there's some kind of prize. And then next week, he gets to do the throwdown. And everyone gets to do, every Thursday, there's a throwdown. It's mano a mano, and you're throwing down. So I always look forward to Thursday throwdowns. And I'd be like, yes, I'm calling out TB. I'm calling out Dan. He looks weak today. I'm calling him out. So I love Thursday throwdowns. But TB and Jake and Robert, whoever's managing, like, come up with some ideas on some cool competitions and incentives. Take a break here and there and host an activity or trip. So I think we talked about 4 weeks on, 1 week off. That's why we do that. You go out for 4 weeks, you kill it, you go gangbusters on it, but then go do something fun. Drive out to the lake, spend 2 days at the lake, you know, do something fun, shake it up, reset the batteries, and then go hit it again for another 4 weeks. I think that's super important, is to have that structure where guys don't get crazy burnt out. Okay, this one's gonna be super applicable to you guys. Owning your market. So you're down here in Cedar City. St. George is not too far away from here. Success and happiness breeds more of the same. If you're making lots of money and having a good time, other people will gravitate towards you. You guys live in a fairly secluded, nice and small market. Like Utah County, where I live, you've got 1 billion companies. Like a career fair at BYU is a waste of time. There's a whole hallway of 80 summer companies. It sucks. It's terrible. UVU, same thing. There's so many companies up in Utah County, it's difficult to own your market. You guys have a really good opportunity down here in Cedar and St. George to own it. Like, this should be simulcast country. Other companies come down for the occasional career fair. I get that. I know Clear's got some stuff in St. George, but they don't have their home base here. You guys need to own Cedar City. SUU needs to be simulcast town. Don't let other people come in and push you out of your town. TB, this is your town. Cedar City, SUU, you gotta own it. And we'll talk about some ways on how to do that. But that is one of the best ways of building a good program, is to own where you're at. Vivint owns Provo. I hate it, but they do. Anyone in Provo knows who Vivint is. Man, I want a summer job. I'll try Vivint. It just happens. You guys need to be that down in Cedar City. And we'll go over some ideas on how to do that. But I want to kind of break down the opportunity a little bit. So I did a little bit of research. So SUU has about 9,000 students, just a little bit shy of 9,000 students. So assuming 25% of those students are seniors and they're going to graduate, that leaves us just shy of 7,000 potential recruits. Not everybody is going to do this job. Some people, it's just not for them. Let's just say 1/3 of the remaining people are viable summer sales or blitz people that they could do this job. Leaves us with a little over 2,000 students that can do this job, are in a good place in their life that they can do it. That's 2,000 students that you guys have access to all day, every day. That doesn't even include all the people who don't even go to college, and doesn't include St. George. Your recruiting pool down here is massive. You've got 5,000 plus students that are viable, qualified sales reps. Recruiting is a necessary step to management. If you can't recruit and you can't build a team, you're not going to manage. Sorry. Maybe Robert's way nicer than me, but you wouldn't manage for me. If you can't manage and run your own team, you're not going to be a manager. Everyone's summer goals should include these 3. Sell a ton of accounts. Ton of accounts. Turn yourself into a prime example of what is possible with simulcast. Come back and recruit a 15-man team for yourself. If I came to Jake and I was like, hey man, like I went out last summer and I sold 87 accounts. It's the best, come and do it. You're not gonna come work for me, are you? Probably not. You gotta sell a bunch of accounts. Turn yourself into a prime example. Hey Jake, the training is excellent. You know, last year with XYZ company, I sold this many accounts. With the training and the structure we have, I had a 30% increase. I sold this many accounts, I made this much money. I want you to come, let me help you. It's a much more effective recruiting pitch. So go out there, sell a ton of accounts, become an example of what's possible, and get a 15-man team. With 5,000, give or take, viable candidates, we're talking less than 0.1% of that field. It's not a lot. Less than 0.1, not even 1%. 0.1% to get a 15-man team out of your available recruiting hub. Is that hard? Does anyone feel that they can't do that? Cool. Robert, how stoked are you if this team comes back and you've got 7 managers in here? You stoked? Stoked out of your mind. The beauty with summer sales, there's no cap to growth. Especially with what Iconic provides with the finances and the structure, you can grow. You can do 20,000 accounts next year. I can support that. There's no cap to this growth. You guys all go out, sell really well. Everyone recruits 10 to 15 people. You've got 15 new teams. That's possible. It's not that hard. You guys can do that. This is really big. Any questions real fast about owning your market? How do we feel about this?
We'll work some things as well. Love it.
Feel confident that SUU can be dominated? Cedar City? Like no other company owns this market. It's open. You guys can own this market for sure. I want to talk about loving your team. Who has worked for a summer sales company before and felt like they were not valued? I felt that way. Have you guys felt that way before? You didn't feel valued. It goes back to character. A lot of owners don't have character. Fact. A lot of VPs and regionals and managers don't have good character. Fact. It's there. You guys can be different. Have good character. Love your team. I always say, if you are concerned about losing pennies, you will not make dollars. You can't be a cheapskate. From what I can tell, Robert's got some cool housing lined up. You guys have some cool incentives. We're gonna go boating, right?
That's right.
Yes, I will come on boating day. So we're going to do some cool stuff. I think that's super important. If you're concerned about losing pennies, you will not make dollars. If your reps feel like, oh, I'm making overrides, yeah, go work harder so I can make more overrides. They're not going to work that hard for you. You got to genuinely love your team. And that's something that I can tell about Robert. I feel like he's a genuine person. I think he genuinely wants all of you to be successful. People are my business. I've heard you say that a dozen times. I love it. I think it's excellent. So what I mean by this, let's clarify. I do not mean that you should give a sign-on bonus to every Joe who asks for one. In fact, I almost never ever do sign-ons as a rule. Caden. Don't do sign-on bonuses. You got it? I don't like them. What I do mean by this is once you've got people that are committed and they're on board, blow them up. Give them the world. Show them that you love them. Treat them the right way. And your people will stick with you. If they feel valued, if they're having a good time, they're making good money, they're being rewarded, people will stay. That's the biggest thing to scaling. I've seen so many companies be the same size every single year. They recruit really well, they promise the world, they don't come through, everybody quits, they do it again, over and over and over again. There's one of our big 5 companies that has been the exact same size for 7 years. Has not grown in 7 years. Same size. It's because they lose everybody every single summer. They re-recruit every single off season, and they do the same thing over and over and over again. And if that works for them, cool. Cool, I guess. I mean, the owner probably makes bank, so he's probably stoked out of his mind. But there's not growth there. There's not relationships. They're not getting bigger. If you guys really love your team, and you support your team and you help them, you genuinely care about them, they'll work hard for you. I know a lot of you guys right now are sales reps. Next year, management is a viable 100% opportunity. Take these lessons. Listen to and see how Robert and TB treat you guys. If you liked it, if you felt valued, reciprocate that. Go out there, recruit your team, have the same mentality. You gotta love your team. You guys gotta feel valued. Secret sauce alert. As a leader, the bigger your sales program is, the more money you will make. What? No way. It's crazy. I'm super smart, TV. No one's ever realized this before. I figured it out, cracked the case. Scaling a program is not hard. It's greed that stops it. It's companies saying, I'm not giving that guy his TV. I'm gonna not pay him that override because he dipped out 2 weeks early. I've seen all that stuff go on for 10 years. If you just paid that kid his 2K, he probably would have came back. And you would have made way more than 2K next summer. I see it happen again and again and again. So right now, this is kind of geared towards Robert and TB and the managers. But for you guys that want to be managers, you got to understand this. Tell me if I'm wrong. Your reps will come to resent you if they see you making money off of them and you are not spreading the wealth. Fact? Super huge fact. You figure out throw down 25 sales next week, and TB's like, yeah, override city. Thanks, Jake. Peace. How you feel about that? You gonna feel cool? You gonna feel terrible? You gonna feel terrible about that? But if he's like, hey man, Richard Heek, you did so many sales last week, man. I'm so proud of you. You did so good. Here's your hoverboard.
Here's your hoverboard bag.
Aw, man, hoverboards are sick. Here's your Xbox, whatever it is.
Hoverboard, it broke the butt about 3 times.
Charles Barkley over there. here's your prize that won't injure you. You will love it. So you'll be so stoked. So stoked. Next time you're like, oh man, TB took good care of me. TB values me. I'm gonna go work with Simulcast again. It's small things like that. Hosting a barbecue or a pool party. Go buy a bunch of chips and burgers and have a good party. Go to a baseball game. Go bowling. Like, do stuff that values your team. Tell your guys thank you. Do incentives. Do competitions. If someone's doing 6 sales a week and they pop off of 15, make a big deal out of that. He probably worked hella hard to get 15 that week. Let him know that you appreciate his effort. Because if he's doing 6 a week, I'm gonna work super hard. I got 15. Yeah, I'm so stoked. And then on the meeting on Monday, okay guys, like everyone did pretty good this week. Let's do harder next time. Okay, I worked really hard. I got 15, and I got nothing for it. As a manager, it's your job. You gotta tell your team thank you. That's the biggest thing. I mean, Jamie is excellent with this. Like whenever I do a good job, like he told Alex, thank you. You're doing a great job. Here, take Sarah out to our date night. Thanks, Jamie. Appreciate that. Just small things like that, I love it. And it makes me feel valued. It makes me feel like I'm in the right place. I'm working hard, I'm making good money, but I'm valued. And that's a big thing that a lot of companies don't do. Maybe they'll pay their reps, but they're not gonna value them. Recruiting battles are won with value. Any company can come in and say, hey, I'll pay you an extra 15 bucks a deal. Cool. What's 15 bucks a deal get you? It's not that much more money, guys. It's not. It's not that much more money. But if you guys work with a company that values you, you make great money, you get cool stuff, you feel part of something bigger than yourself, your owners, your managers, they value you. There's added benefit to that. In recruiting battles, don't be afraid to say, I provide that value. I will value you. It's big time. Guys like to be valued. As a sales rep, am I lying, Logan? Fact? Fact. Let's keep it on going a little bit. We talked about this already. I kind of went off script, so genuinely love your guys. It'll be good. Okay, some best practices. Okay, this is my bold statement of the day. I think onboarding, something as simple as onboarding a rep, is the most overlooked stage in all of door-to-door sales. Who here has seen a rep get recruited and then fall off immediately? Is it Caden?
Yeah.
Caden, you've seen that? You've seen that? How do we prevent that from happening?
Neglect.
Sure. For sure, neglect. What else?
They're not sold on the previous things you've talked about. They don't feel like
That's
they're
negatives.
part of the culture. They don't feel
Okay.
valued or loved. I would say those are the big things that keep people that are recruited.
Very true. Very, very true. Yeah.
I was gonna say, 'cause I was talking to him a little while ago, and then I kind of fell off because of school and stuff like that, and he kept inviting me to this and letting me know, it made me feel like, oh, like, there's more to this than you have already learned, so come learn more. I think that's important.
Cool. Good job, TB. I like it. No, that's all excellent. That's all super true. That will definitely help. There's one thing that I've noticed. When you're onboarding a rep, he needs to see success immediately. If the rep comes on board and sees what is capable, he will stick. That's the most often overlooked thing. So it's critical. You have to get them onboarded and doing stuff immediately. So just by doing this one main thing, Iconic grew from 30 sales reps to over 600 in 1 year. That's it. We just focus on treating our reps right with moral integrity, and we show them success immediately. So one thing that we do is, whether I'm doing blitzes or year-round models or summer sales, whatever it is, I have a system. So every Monday, we have orientation. So whenever our reps or our managers talk to people and say, hey, Alex, I've got 4 guys that are interested. Cool. Monday, orientation. They come in. We have a slideshow and a presentation. This is who Iconic is. This is what we do. These are our values. This is the job. 20, 30 minutes. When I'm done, I say, hey, if this job's for you, stick around. We'll do some training. If it's not, thanks for coming. No hard feelings. There's the door. Don't bring on people who it's not for them. Because if they're going to go out for the summer or on a blitz, they're going to hate it, and then they're miserable. Robert, I'm out here in Minnesota. I don't have a car. Like, I hate it. I want to go home. Now, Robert's got to buy this guy a plane ticket, send him home. It becomes a whole thing. If the guy's not going to like the job, if it's not for him, don't be afraid to say, no worries, man. Have a good day. When you guys are getting your teams, 10 to 15 good quality reps. Don't get 27 when half of them suck. Lean is better. 10 to 15 guys is the money spot. We've got a good sized team here. We got some guys with excellent experience. This is a good, nice, strong, lean team. It's very efficient. I'm very optimistic about this team. Do orientation. The guys that want to stay, you then do training. Now, when I say training, I don't mean 20 minutes of a door pitch practice. 5 hours. I do a 5-hour all-day training. If you got a job at any other company, you go in all day for training day. Do the same thing with this. I do a 5-hour training. I go through who our company is, our values. We have a personal development course that we put all of our guys through. We do doorstep training. What do you call it? ECP? We do that. We go through, he comes out of the house, you go through the whole sales process, go through closing, objections. We role play a ton. Give them a 5-hour training day. Really train them. That's on Monday. On Tuesday, they come out with their manager and they knock locally. So here's what we do. The new rep does not knock a door. The manager knocks all day. The rep just watches. Just gotta watch. Take one day, absorb what you're seeing. Now as the manager, when that happens, every time you give a pitch, whether you get the sale or you don't, when you leave the house, break it down. Hey man, we got that sale. You see how I said this? The customer came back with that, and I turned it by doing this. Did you see that? And he goes, yeah, I did see that. Cool. This is why I did that. That's why it works. Okay, cool. Break down the sale. If you didn't get the sale, say, hey man, we didn't get that sale. Customer said this. I should have done this. That was my bad. Next time we'll get it. But break down that pitch. Break down that sale. But manager, you knock all day. If the rep wants to knock, nope. Just watch today. That's Tuesday. Wednesday, the rep knocks. The manager watches. If that rep is going to lose the deal, use some restraint. Do not step in. Let him lose the deal. If he doesn't lose the deal, he's never going to learn. Once he loses that deal, he's going to be upset. He's going to be mad. Oh, this job is hard. I didn't get the deal. Leave the house. Manager, break it down. Hey, why'd you lose that deal? I don't know. I did the right close. Oh, why didn't you do it? Okay, this is what I saw. You did this when you should have done this. You didn't spend enough time building rapport. You jumped in too soon. Give him feedback on why he didn't get that deal. Do a whole day of that. Now, when I say go out for the day, I don't mean go out for 2 hours, 6 hours, 7 hours. Give him a full day. Don't shortchange your onboarding and your training process. Very, very critical. That's Wednesday. Thursday, he knocks all by himself. Locally. Someplace local. It might not be the best area, but just get him on the doors. Thursday, knocks all day by himself. Friday, Saturday, weekend blitz trip. So get a bunch of guys, some experienced, some new, some guys who are going through that week process. Friday, Saturday, weekend blitz trip. Pick a place, get a cool house. You drive up there Friday, you knock on Friday, you come back to the house, you have team dinner, you play games, you have a lot of fun, you have a party, it's a good time. Wake up Saturday, do a good correlation, go knock Saturday, come home. The point of that, hopefully that new rep comes out, makes 1, 2, 3, 4 deals. He's stoked. I made 4 deals in 2 days. I had a pizza party, played Xbox, made some new friends. Good weekend. I had fun with that. TB, Jake, Rob, other managers, your job on that blitz is to throw down. You go on that blitz, you better work hard. You got to throw down 4, 5, 6 deals. You can then say, hey man, I got 6 deals. I made $1,000, 50, whatever it is, $1,500. That could be you next weekend. You start pitching that vision. TB made $2,000 this week, and we had all that fun. This job is for me. That is a week of onboarding, orientation, real 5-hour training, 3 days of local knocking, weekend blitz trip. If you guys do that, that's not that that has to be the only way to do it. That's what we do. And we've seen tremendous spikes in our retention by doing this one thing. We do a full week onboarding. Guys stick. They catch the vision. They had fun. Either they got success or they saw success. They don't have to personally get 6 deals their first week. They get 1, maybe 2. TB throws down 8. He got 2 on Tuesday, 6 over the weekend. He got 8 sales this week. He made $2,000, and we had all that fun. I'm in. I can do that. Onboarding is about pitching the vision of what can be. Show guys what this job can be. Don't have them come in, hey, go shadow your manager for a day, sit tight for a week. You know, we're doing a bowling night next Wednesday. Summer will be May 1st. It's not gonna work. You're gonna have guys fall off like crazy. If you guys are doing the 2-week on, 2-week off blitz model, this is excellent. Get them on that blitz, having success, do that stuff. But don't shortchange your training and your orientation and your onboarding. Do it right. Invest some time. Even if you go out with that guy and maybe it's Thursday and he goes, hey man, it's not for me. Okay, cool. That's gonna happen. But get that over with on Thursday. Don't figure that out May 15th. That's awful. Don't do that. TB, do you want that? No, that would suck. He's out there, he's depressed. You guys get depressed. Ruins the whole mood. Yeah.
So for 5 hours of training, do you pay them for that?
Nope.
Or is it just saying,
Nope.
this one, right?
Commission only.
Yeah, we get paid for value, not time.
Question?
Yeah, no, good question, but I answered it that abruptly because that's how you got to do it. If you're like, no, we don't pay for training, sorry. Then they're like, oh, okay. Nope, I don't. It's commission only. If you come in, I'll teach you how to make all this money, whatever you want to pitch price-wise or whatever your commissions are. I'll teach you how to do this. There's your value. Sound good? Okay. Just like with a customer. Oh, like, is it, what's an objection? Like, I don't want to, it's not that on my roof. Okay, that's fine. I'll do a pull up. Just, boop. Whether it's recruiting, whether it's training, whether it's selling, all the same way. Confidence is key. If you guys are confident, you're cool, calm, collected. If you give value to their objections, you're only shooting yourself in the foot. That's why I said yesterday with the objections, there's words you can say, there's things you can say, but ultimately just going through and being confident and doing the right things with your people, showing them the right way, they'll stick. Feel good about onboarding? Cool? All right. Okay. These are some things I have had great success with. So my first DirecTV company was Beacon Marketing. That's where I worked my first 2 years doing TV. And we developed something called the Beacon Approach. So I've talked to TB about this. It worked very, very well for us. So our building, does anyone know like Orem very well? Like you've got U of U, and then across the highway, there's Wolverine Crossing. You guys know about that? So it's a big complex, a lot of shops, a lot of apartments. A lot of students live there that go to U of U. We put our, we put our building, or our office, right there at Wolverine Crossing. So we're surrounded by UVU students. So it was the owner, myself, and one HR person. And we had like 2 customer service girls. And I was like, okay, how do we get a team? I mean, going to UVU, career fairs, SEC, I mean like Vivint is there and like Clear is there, all these big companies are there. We're gonna get smoked, like what do we do? So we said, hey, let's throw a party. There was a big UFC, I forget what the fight was. I think it was, I don't remember. But it was a big UFC fight, and let's throw a UFC fight. So we got our 2 office girls who lived there, and we made flyers, we printed them out, come down, pizza, UFC fight night. And we had these 2 girls go around and just flyer all the doors of these complexes. And we had like 80 people show up. And we were like, it's too many people. People showed up to a UFC fight night. And we were like, okay. So we didn't get any recruits from that because we were just like in panic mode. Like, what do we do with this? So we were like, because Wolverine Crossing is huge. It has like thousands of students. And we did the whole thing. So that was our first mistake. We went too big, too fast. So, but people showed up. And we had to order like way more pizza, but people had a great time. And we were like, okay, cool. Maybe this is something that we figured out. So we did it again. I think we did like Thursday NFL. And we only did one of the buildings this time. and like 7 guys showed up. And there was me, the owner, the HR guy, and then the 2 office girls, and like 7 guys showed up. And we just pitched them on the job. Like, hey, come in, watch this fight. Oh, knockout. Like, we had a good time. We partied. We talked about the job. And of those 7 guys, 2 of them were down to try it. So we were like, cool, tomorrow, let's go on a weekend blitz. And they're like, all right, cool. So these 2 guys came. Me and the HR guy who used to knock went out with them. And we did a weekend blitz. And they had a great time. And they joined us. Next weekend, we did another, I think it was a Mayweather fight. We did a Mayweather fight. And like 10 guys showed up. And now we had 4 of us there. We did the same thing. And again, 2 or 3 of those guys, yeah, I'll get a shot. Weekend blitz. They loved it. Had a great time. Now we had 6 guys. And we just grew from myself. We had 35 guys. We started doing this in November, and by April, we had 35 guys. Just by doing UFC fight nights, NFL Thursdays, whatever it was. We became pretty popular. The complex was, oh yeah, Beacon has the fight nights, we'll go to Beacon. So people just came to our office all the time. We had a pool table, a ping pong table, we had an Xbox with Madden. We just created a little fun area, and people just came to our office all the time. Hey, can we play Madden? Sure, come on in, man. Go play Madden. Thanks. We just played Madden. We got a pool table. We'll play in some pool. But we built it from 1 rep to 35 just by doing UFC fight nights. We hired a couple more girls that lived in the complex, and they were all in the same single wards. And they told all their guys about it. Hey, come to Beacon. And we paid the girls like, hey, every guy that comes, you get like $5, or I forget exactly what it was, but something like that. But whoever showed up, you get $5. We're like, okay. So like, they went nuts on it. We were like, oh, okay, here's your money. They better stick. But we built this program just from flyering the apartment complex, come down to Beacon, they got the party spot. And we killed it. 1 rep to 35 from November to April, just by doing that. No online stuff, no career fairs, didn't step on campus one time. We just hit an apartment complex. That worked super well for us. So I don't know how SUU housing is situated. I don't know if that's a feasible option, Robert or Jake, but do they have those spaces for rent? It's something to look into, but I call it the Beacon approach. We killed it. Next thing, instant gratification. This works really good with the blitz trip model. So if you guys are doing the blitz trip model down the road, this works really well, especially in a close market. So you guys go out, they do a 2-week blitz, but before they go, you establish incentives. Hey, top rep gets this, most improved rep gets this, anyone that does 20 gets this, and then go buy that stuff. So guys go out, they have a good blitz, they made 2-3 grand, they come home, here's my TV, awesome. Here's my hoverboard, except for Richard. You know, here's whatever the prizes are gonna be, here's my stuff. In addition to that, what we did, let's take pictures. Congratulations, you won a prize. This is an old school camera, sorry. So you got your prize, excellent. Everyone now put that on their Facebook page. I love simulcast, great sales trip, made 3 grand, won an Xbox, woohoo. Do that every single blitz trip, forever. And I promise you, people will say, dude, what is your job? Your job looks lit. Let me check it out. You will grow by doing that. I promise. We do that all the time with Iconic. We've grown our in-house teams tremendously just by doing that. We do a blitz trip, we come back, here's your stuff, you won, congratulations, picture, Facebook it up, we're out. Our guys get phone calls all the time. Hey man, I thought Iconic did summer sales. Oh, they do, but we also do this. It's year round. Oh, that sounds pretty cool. Yeah, I'll come try it? All right, I'll come in on Monday. Orientation, 5-hour training, 3 days of knocking, weekend blitz trip. Stick to your model. But by doing instant gratification, give your guys their prizes immediately, throw it on Facebook. Simulcast is the best. We love it. It's so cool. Yeah. People will rally behind that. Success breeds success. People want to be a part of success. Is that not a cool job? You go out for 2 weeks, you make 2-3 grand, you win a prize, you come home, you go chill for 2 weeks, do it again. That sound good? Yes?
Yeah.
No? Maybe? It sucks? Alex, you're an idiot. Go home. It's a good idea? Come on! Good, thank you. Good idea, bad idea. Give me something, guys. Okay, last one. Feed your horses. What does that mean, feed your horses?
It means feed your horses.
It's true. Robert, say that again, man.
I said, take care of your big dogs.
Take care of the breadwinner.
Take care of your big dogs. This is commission sales. This summer, whoever is your top rep, I will do this. So I will come out with you guys next fall, and I will pay for, I'll help you plan, organize, advertise, and throw a recruiting event to help you build a team. I'll come to your event, I'll help you run it, I'll help you pitch all your guys. So top rep this summer gets a recruiting event with me next fall. Cool? Who's it? I'll pay for it.
Just super dope.
I'll pay for it. It'll be sick.
I'm there as well.
Who's it gonna be? Who wants top dog? Richard wants it. TB wants it. Okay. What's that? Jake's quiet confidence. Quiet confidence. Okay. Okay, I got one more incentive. So we're doing this competition this summer. So we've got 30 companies, and then we have our own iconic in-house guys. We're gonna do a tournament. It's gonna be called Top Gun. You guys all seen the movie Top Gun? Best of the best. I'm gonna pick a neutral location, probably mid to late July. And each company and iconic, your 2 best guys. Your 2 best guys, you'll send them out to Top Gun. And I'll come out, I'll assign area. Top winner of Top Gun, I don't have a prize yet, but I promise you it will be dope. It will be incredibly cool. Huh?
This is just the most juicy and
It is gonna be,
these guys throw down hard.
it's gonna be cool. I promise you. I don't know what it is yet.
So juicy.
It's gonna be sick. So you will want to win Top Gun. So if you want to be invited, prove to Robert that you're a top 2. And it's not about who's going to do the most accounts in the year if you're doing a year-round program or something. Like, hey, it's 1 week. You have 1 week to sell. Who can ball the hardest for 1 week? And I promise, the prize, I got some ideas.
You think Rob Flynn is power ranks #1 right now?
Yeah. So I have an in-house guy for Iconic.
40 a week? 30 a week?
Depends on the competition. So I got a guy, his name's Rob Flynn. He's one of my in-house guys. Dude's a monster. He is the #1 seed. He will come out on this week and he will throw down at least 35. So to clarify, we've talked about morals and high character. No cheating. I see collusion happening right now over here. I see collusion right now. If 2 guys go out, hey, I'll throw you my deals. I will call. I will find out. No shenanigans.
Oh, I was talking about a different group.
I know. I'm just kidding. But
You two win it?
yeah,
Just throw up all their kids. Katie gets like 60 for the week.
no collusion. He did 60 deals. This is freaking insane. So just so you guys know, Rob Flynn will do minimum 30, at least 30 sales in that week. He is a killer. So if you want the trophy, come and get it. Bring it. He's good. So that's all I've got for you guys, but I just want you guys know that we are stoked about Simulcast. We love you guys. We love Robert. You guys are doing fantastic things. You guys are doing an excellent job. I'm stoked about it. Yeah, just keep on doing what you guys are doing. There's opportunities to grow here, 100%. And we're invested in you guys. We're invested in Simulcast. We're invested in Robert. So that's basically what I want to pitch. These are some things that I've done that have helped us grow to the level that we have.
Thanks, guys. We good mentally? Okay, I'm only asking for maybe 30 more hard minutes here because we've got food that'll be prepared. So wherever we get to, as soon as lunch is ready, we're good. But this is some of my, huh?
I just read the first line there, I thought it was funny.
Yeah, I know. Well, it does.
More sugar here this week than
Oh yeah. Hey, it's important to binge on junk as well. I promise. Like you need times where you just, you have to just go hard. We go hard on these trips. Outside these trips, I'm on a diet. Haley's, actually, she's super good about it. So I eat pretty good. But here, no way. So, I mean, well, everyone right now, like let's just be honest. Take 2 seconds right now and realize that we're all probably pretty tired. Like, we're all pretty tired. All right. We're all probably not feeling super great. I mean, would not be the ideal feeling before you go out and knock. However, when you're like enlightened and you're learning things, your brain does like, it turns on. And that's why during your correlations, you want to go over some new information as well, because your reps will go out there with new information. They feel enlightened and they'll work the whole day. So, because like we're all running on 5, 6, 7 hours over the course of 2 days, like, and I don't even know what you guys did. So I don't even know how tired you are. You weren't even here. And we went hard, and we had a chessboard, for heaven's sakes, and we went hard on chess. So I don't even know what you guys did. But these guys, I can't even believe that. 3 a.m. At 3 a.m. they're playing chess. I'm like, what the heck? So anyway, all right, let's roll it. So what this is going to be, I mean, so this is kind of my best practices and things like that have helped me be where I am today. So a lot of this stuff I've gotten from books that I've read, the scriptures especially, like this. These things are at my core, and I promise you, if you can develop these things and learn them and become just better in every facet of life, you'll be good. It kind of goes off of Steve Covey's principles of like the whole person paradigm. But I've narrowed it down into some things that have really helped me in these 4. And this is actually critical to what I do in recruiting and what our models, values are. But I do want to go over those with you guys and get our own, that are ours. Because my like statement is just help people to become the best versions of themselves in every facet of life. Like that's mine. And I call that simulcast, but you guys didn't really help create it. And so it's not us. But mine, yes, that's my personal. My personal mission is to help everyone get or become the best versions of themselves in every facet of life. And that's it. And that's core to what I do. And that's when I sit down on one-on-ones, that's what we talk about. And we go over these things. But I'm going to teach you guys some things that if you do, your life is going to be 10 times better. The other thing is, so in systems, when we talk about systems, like, and I'll get to my systems training, the first portion of that is you have to have your own like personal system is what I call it. Step 1 to being successful in this job. Before you can build a team, before anything, you have to learn to sell well, and you have to be self-sufficient, AKA independent. And we'll get to that, but like this is going to help you do that. So let's talk about it, okay? So physical. Obviously, this is the physical tangibles. This is who we are. Diet and exercise play a huge role in how you feel, and we know that now. So I think I have sleep on here as well. Now we know that, but. So creating healthy habits, these are some huge best practices that I do, and I am like begging you guys to do this, okay? So a morning schedule, the more consistent that you are in this job, because a lot of people view sales as inconsistent. Well, newsflash, sorry guys, life is inconsistent. Like, I know people who have owned really successful companies that are bankrupt, and I know people who worked for really big firms who they got laid off and they're fired. Like consistency is not a real thing. We have to create that in our lives. And so I want to teach you to do that. My morning schedule, typically, if I can swing it, what I'll do is I'll get up and I'll take an hour of power where I'll go 30 minutes of scripture, 30 minutes of a good book. And then I get out and exercise, and then I exercise with my wife, and then my day begins. And I try to get all that done before my calling times, which are 8 to 8. So I don't usually get my exercise in. Usually that goes over into my call times, but I have a schedule every day and I stick to it. And then that way, here's what's interesting about it. So success breeds success. Alex was talking about this. If you have succeeded in the morning,
you will succeed in every other part of the day. And if your reps succeed in the morning, they'll succeed in every other part. So to-do list as well, like, and I actually learned that from Alex just because he had so many different things going on. So he would have like a family to-do list and the business to-do list, and he had those on his phone. And so anytime something comes up, if I don't write it down, I don't get it done. And I realize that now, you know. I used to not be that way because I didn't have as many to-dos, but now I do, and I have to write it down. So healthy habits though, finances, let's talk about this for just a second, because this is the biggest problem that I see with reps, especially my year-round guys in other markets. As they get money, they spend it. They just blow their dough the minute they get it. And we all have a tendency to do that. Like, even, so I have a car that's having a few problems, and I'm like super tempted just to upgrade my car. But I could just fix my car and just keep driving my car, you know? Or you see the fancy truck and it's like, yeah, I can afford that. But that's not making a lasting change. So I love Dave Ramsey's Total Money Makeover. I actually have a slide with those principles on it that I'll show you. But these are some points I want to talk about. So your affairs, if your affairs are not in order, you will not build a team. Like, you won't. Sorry, you can't. Okay, so the earn and spend model, super stressful, unnecessary. Yes?
Just a quick comment on that. So maybe 2-3 years ago, we had a team where the manager just did not have control of his finances. And then it was probably July, and then June. I had sales reps calling me saying, hey, Bob is borrowing money from us and then not paying us back.
Wow.
The owner?
The manager.
Yeah, the manager. That's a good manager.
The manager just had no money management skills, and he was borrowing money from his reps. And
Yeah.
it became a whole problem.
That's crazy. So you can't do that. I mean, I'm sure you all know that, but you can't do that. But this is something that's not taught a lot in the industry, which is weird. 10, 15 years, you know, people don't get this knowledge. So I'm going over this so you understand, like, you have to have your affairs in order. Especially, I know that I have it somewhere in my slideshows, but people will take advice naturally. They'll take advice from people they want to switch places with. So for me, if I see somebody with a family that's in shambles, I'm probably not going to take family advice from him. But if I see someone whose family is just killing it and maybe they have the same spiritual goals that I have and I'm seeing that, I'm going to take the advice from him. Alex Baird does extremely, extremely well with what he does. So I take advice from him. You know, I take financial advice from people who kill it with their finances. And no offense, even like a financial professor at college, like they're teachers. So if you want teaching advice, take teaching advice from them. But sometimes their financial advice is not so good. Like, if you want to get rich, ask rich people. And then this is something I wanted to touch on with you guys as well. So I know I am well aware that not everybody in here is like, hey, simulcast is going to be my career. Some of you it is, and I love that. And I didn't think like simulcast would be my career at first. I really didn't, but yeah, I'm all in. Okay, but this is how I got there at first. So owning your business, so my business can be real estate because I want financial freedom for me, and I do want generational wealth as well. And that's something Alex talks about. Like, I want that. And to me, if I can have my income, let's say I've got 10 properties and that income is better than my expenses or higher than my expenses, I'm financially free. I'm done. And that's my business. You know what I mean? So that's my business. My people are my business, right? TV might not be my business, but own your business, whatever you decide that is. Stocks, great. Mutual funds, sweet. Like, set up your retirement. Awesome. Like, learn how to do that. Study it. Let your commission work for you. Become financially free. And I wanted to touch on this for a second. So there's this stigma in the industry that, like, your reps, they go out and they make you money. And that is not how it works, okay? Reps they don't just go out and make you money, okay? The only thing that can do that is money. So if you put your money to work, your money can make you money. Money never sleeps. Money doesn't get sick. Like your rental properties, they don't get sick, right? They don't decide one day, I'm not gonna show up to work. They don't have the emotionals. You need to understand your reps, they take time and they deserve your time. They're worthy of your time. Like, that's, you know what I mean? Yes.
I just like how you say let your commission work for you.
Yeah.
I mean, a big thing I do is I try to understand the difference between assets and liabilities. You know?
Yes.
So yeah, I do a lot of real estate. So I like to buy rental properties that make me money all the time. And when you guys are making good money at this job,
Which you will.
take that money and do stuff with it to make more money.
Yep.
And I do well financially. I got a Kia Optima.
Yep.
Like, bought it for 12 grand, like 3 years ago.
From like a repo place.
I
Yeah.
still drive it today.
And
so
it-
I bought my house 5 years ago. I haven't upgraded it.
Yep.
It doesn't make me money. So when you guys want to do things to spend your money, like, see, especially early on, like, make sure that investment will make you more money. Don't
Love that.
Spend your money now on things that are liabilities.
We've all been there. I don't know what you said, but we've all been there. You know, it's
Early on in my career.
early on. I
Get you a hotter wife.
yeah, that'll work too. Yeah, that's fine. So, yeah, for me at first, I mean, yeah, it was that way too. But yeah, so just a real quick analysis. So an asset is something that puts money in your pocket. A liability is something that takes money out in its simplest form. So if you have a property you've put money in and it's making you money, that's an asset. A liability is a brand new car. Let's say you buy it for $50,000. That thing's going to depreciate. Okay, that's going to depreciate. That's going to take money out of your pocket. So this training, I consider this whole thing an asset. I really do. Let's just talk about it, pure financials. I'm hopefully giving you a skill set now where you can go out and just destroy it. Yes, I will make more money with that as well. We'll say it how it is. Obviously, there's a lot more intangibles that go into it and why I do it, but yeah, this is an asset. This is worth the money, you know? So just kind of think about those things. I hope, you know, you guys can take those with you. Like, your physical is super important. You need it, but I think I'm part of that as well. So that's putting food on the table. These are the principles of Dave Ramsey's book. I almost wanted to put them on just so we have them online. And I'm just going to blitz through these really fast. But $1,000 emergency fund is step one. So like, if you don't have $1,000 in your account, please get that now. 2, you start paying off debts. So if you have 5 different debts, and it doesn't matter the interest rates, whatever the lowest total balance is. So if you have a hospital bill for $2,000, start on that, okay? And then as soon as that's paid off, take the money that you were spending on that monthly and roll it into the next. So if you already are planning on $1,500 of expenses coming out every month, don't change that. Because here's the big problem. So people pay off their car for $250. So they were paying $250 a month on their car. Then they go out and they get a new debt of $250 because they were used to paying it. Why? Take that $250, roll it into your next debt. Then you pay that off way faster. You have a lot less in interest over time. And then you roll that whole thing. So by the time you're on your last thing, you're paying $1,000 a month toward that debt. And you didn't have to change anything with your lifestyle. And then obviously you can stoke the fire. You can put more in your debt snowball. And me and Haley were able to do that, you know, pretty well. So we were able to just kind of pay our debts that way. 3 to 6 months, so then you start saving up, okay? That way, if you have something really bad happen, you've got 3 to 6 months saved. The goal of that is to never go back into debt. So this is stay out of debt, okay? Stay out of debt. And then you can start investing. Then it becomes fun. So 15% of your income goes into your like Roth IRAs, pre-tax retirement plans, okay? College funding, pay off your home early, build wealth and give, okay? So pretty easy steps, but I really want to focus on like these top 3 for sales reps and definitely people who are tuning in online. Like, we need to have that. All right, quick final notes. Tax write-offs. So this is something no one ever really taught me, and I just want to go over it with you guys really brief as well, so that you know I'm not going to leave you in the dark. Okay. So write-offs are like the bomb. Okay. You need to be saving your receipts. You need to be doing that. Your life. You're a 1099 employee. This is how the rich live. Okay. The rich make their money. They spend their money, they get taxed on what's left. Okay, everybody else who gets these high professional paying jobs as well, they are at the mercy of the government. So I have a family member who makes 179 grand. He's in a 33% tax bracket. He leaves with 125,000. Where on well over 6 figures, like 7,000, you know, on taxes, 6,000, 7,000. Because of my accountant, so thank you, accountant. And his name's Dave. So I just said if any of you are pacing for like 40,000 plus, reach out to me, okay? I can help you guys get in contact with somebody who can set up an LLC for you. You can run your taxes that way. So I won't talk too much on taxes, but that way you're doing it the right way. You're not getting taxed. Before anything under 60, 70,000 for me in my first few years of selling. So when I made a little over 80,000, that's the first time I paid taxes at all. So under that, I actually didn't pay taxes. He's just the man. And in fact, I've hooked him up with you as well. So he's the man. So save your receipts. Just understand, like that's an insane amount of money. I mean, $179,000 to $125,000. Like that's what he gets taxed. He doesn't get to keep that. Like that sucks. So you can save a lot of money and time just by being smart with your money and knowing what to do with it. And I will help you with that, okay? I know that's very, very basic, but Alex, how valuable is your accountant in your life?
I'm trying to think of how you should quantify that.
Yeah, it's impossible. I think about the same thing.
Incredibly.
Yeah, it's like, how can you? Like, how much money do you think? Like, it's just crazy to me. The thousands of dollars I've saved. Like, it blows my mind. And people will look at it, see the kind of the poor mentality is like, it's a very conservative mentality. Well, it's going to cost me $50 a month to have this accountant run my books. Man, that's going to save you so much money. Like, exactly, that's pennies. That's a classic example of what Alex talked about. Don't shortchange those people in your life. Like, pay your financial advisor, pay your financial people good money. Okay, that's pretty much it for physical. I know that was really blitzed quick. Take care of your body, get in good habits, live financially free. Like, let's make some good habits, okay? That's pretty much my physical for you. Mental, okay? So this is part 2. Mental growth. Reading is a must. I have book clubs, and I know for a fact none of you have read the books, so maybe a little bit. But I know for a fact, like, you have not. I know it. You want to, but there's a few people who are reading them, and the people who are reading them have, like, some great success. Yes.
This summer I will. I just have some business law that's kind of
Okay. Yeah, but I know college makes it hard. The classic quote for me is just like, so people die at age 26 and they don't start stinking till age 66. In other words, you stop growing after college. Like, think of an average human being's life. Like, that's how it is. Okay? After college, they get their training on the job. They work the same job for 25 years. They don't read books. They don't grow. Their income doesn't really grow. Like, it's just, that's life. That's life. And it doesn't have to be that way. You know what I mean? Like, you can stimulate, you can grow. Miss a meal if you have to, don't miss a book. Like, there's no excuse. Now we have audiobooks, you can listen to them at 2x speed. And literally, like, your brain, you can train your brain to do that. And so I listen to all my audios at 2x, and I love it. I retain more at 2x. Like, I can't listen to it at 1x anymore. See, yeah, if Alex got up here and started speed talking, it would have been better for me. No, I'm kidding. So if everyone could just talk like this, it'd be a lot better for us. You know, that's how it sounds. But anyway, you can do that. Audiobooks are amazing. So I turn down the music, turn up the education. So in the gym, I know you guys all have pretty good healthy habits actually. Turn down the music, turn up your education. Okay, I put books in at the gym or a conference talk or something like that. That's what I listen to now every time I'm exercising. And then every time I'm driving, in goes the headphones or in goes the auxiliary jack. Like, there's no reason not to. Literally, The Compound Effect was the book of the month. I think I spent $15 on it. That book has made me thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. Just that book alone. Like, that's been one of the most instrumental for where I'm at. So I give out those books. I assign those books just because of what they've done for me. And man, The Compound Effect, it's so good. Darren Hardy was a millionaire by 24. Like, he knows what he's doing. You know what I mean? So anyway, yeah, and I already put that. So consider seminars. These are just some ideas for you guys. So I know that you have things you love to do, like seminar it up, dude. Private lessons for music, like have those things, okay? Sales seminars. I buy sales seminars. I really do. $250 or like $300. Okay, I'll do it. So I have a lot of different techniques, a lot of different closing techniques, a lot of like, just because of people like Grant Cardone or Olin Claff or, you know, just different sales programs. Cardone University is fetching expensive, but I have invested in it. And it was great for me. I just started selling, boom, 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 boom. So it's funny, like, if you don't know what a good investment is, invest in yourself. Like, why not? I mean, you have great income ability. A Roth IRA, maybe 8, 9, 10% over its life. How much percent can you increase your income? Like, if you go from making $20,000 to $80,000, that's a huge increase. And $80,000 to $160,000, $300,000, $500,000, and these are realistic figures. Like, you can grow exponentially. Invest in yourself. Like, take $1,000, put it in a seminar. You know, not a bad idea. And then my plug, my website. okay? Study the freaking website. You guys never get on there, I know it, okay? Because if you did, you'd be raving about it. And the only reason why is because you don't have to train as much if you're using this. So you legitimately just, and that'll be on more stuff, but, okay? A little bit more. So I'm gonna talk about hobbies for a second. So here it is, pursuing hobbies, taking lessons, like, and the reason why, and Alex touched on this big time, I mean, we're human beings and we have interests and we have loves. So I am, by trade, I'm a salesman, but that doesn't mean I'm a salesman at home. And I'm not a salesman when I get behind my drum set, and I'm not a salesman when I'm playing sports and when I'm with my friends. I'm not a salesman playing video games, right? Like I don't know, like you've got to take private lessons to pursue your hobbies. It's worth it. Physical activities as well. Take golf lessons. Like, I'm gonna do that one day. I'm gonna take lessons and I'm gonna pay for them and it'll be awesome. I'm gonna learn how to golf. I'm gonna take singing lessons. Like I've always wanted to do that. I'm gonna do it. You know, like it's on my bucket list. I don't know. There's just little things that I will do. I've changed my life. I took drum lessons for a long time and I love it. So I'm sure that you guys have those things like dance. I mean, pursue those passions. When I decided not to really make music like my career, because that always was what I wanted to do, it's funny, I realized by doing this job and by doing sales, I can create whatever life I want. And so when I kind of stepped away from music, it made music seem more feasible. Like I can do music now. I have money to do music. I have a really nice drum set. I could not have afforded that, but I have it now and I freaking love it. So, all right, goals. Okay, we've talked about goals in detail, so I'm not going to go too much into it either. But this is pretty important. So maybe I'll try to hit a couple different things that weren't hit already. For me, the top 10 is a best practice I've done for a long time. So I take 10 goals and I spread them out across. So not just financial. I have the physical, the mental, social, emotional, and spiritual. And I go over my top 10 biggest, juiciest, fattest, most exciting goals. And some of them for me are just like give my wife and son like 1 hour, like quality alone, no phone time every day. And it's kind of difficult, like, but it can be done. And so that one's a little bit more intangible, but yeah, like millionaire by X, you know, like that's on there, you know, millionaire by here's my age and just things like that. You've got to have your goals. So I go over my goals morning and night, because as you go over them more, your brain it sees it. So it kind of creates it. And it's funny, I went over goals that I wrote 2 years ago. I found this like journal with my goals 2 years ago, and I've hit like almost every one of them. And they were set out for 2016 and 2017, including like having a rental property with, you know, ironically enough, 4+ units. Like it's just crazy to me. Like it's to a T. Like it's exactly this. It's exactly that, because I've just been going over those and it's been fun. And they've changed, but the ones that I initially started out with, like they're accomplished, and it was cool to see. So I go over those all the time. Also, a best practice for me is when I'm like depressed or down in the dumps, I go over my goals. So that to me, it pushes me. And I have my why as well, but just a best practice for guys. Like, so when I get a door slammed or something and I just feel down or I don't get a recruit, I just pull out my phone and pull out my goals and I just write them down again. Like, why do I do what I do? You know, what do I want in life? And nothing comes easy. So this just helps, man. And then your habits each day, like as you prepare for the next day. So let's say you have a goal of dunking a basketball at the end of the year. If you're not hitting the gym and you're not doing leg days, or you're not going to get it. You know what I mean? And so you need to cement your goals. If your goal is to do 300 accounts this summer and you're like knocking 3 hours mentally in it, but then your other 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours, you're like mentally out of the game. I know so many reps who check out at 7. Why? Like you mentally check out during the best part of the day and you're just, I'm done. And your goals are to do this many accounts. Well, you're not going to get them. You know what I mean? So understand that your habits need to be centered around goals. That's it. So my to-do list actually, so when I make a to-do list now, rather than doing like, okay, 9 o'clock, I'm going to do this. It's like, these are the things that matter most. So this activity is more important than anything else. So this activity is going to go here. this activity is more important than anything else, besides that one. Echoes here. And then if something tries to interrupt in my most important time, so like people trying to call me right now and just little complaints or whatever in the company, right now, this is my number one. I don't even have my phone on me. Like, sorry, this is number one. And I let people know that in advance. Does that make sense, kind of? So that's just a different way to view it. So I attack my days a little bit differently. I don't say like, okay, I have this laundry list of things to do. It's what's most important in this list? Who matters most? Am I giving them adequate time? If so, perfect. If not, I need to reevaluate. So, and then this, I just wanted to touch on it a second. So our motto is actually really close. I guess that was Dish One's. I didn't know Think Big was a motto. So I actually threw down Dream Big, and here's why. So I feel like, no offense to any TV company, but I'm just gonna throw this out there. I feel like the expectations are extremely low. And that just coming from where I came from, so I'm not Vivint guy anymore, but like they did, I think 250,000 accounts, and the top TV thing did 30,000. I think that sucks to me. You know what I mean? And maybe that doesn't suck to you guys, but that sucks to me. That's 30,000 TV versus 250,000 alarms. It's a 5-year contract versus a 2-year contract. $100 activation, $50 activation. Like, everyone uses it, not everyone uses it. Like, how did that happen? How did that happen? Like, think about that. And it was here, it was created here, okay? It was created here first. And so, I don't know why we limit our potential. Like, 30 a week's great, but come on, you know what I mean? Like, 4 or 5 days. It's great, but come on. Like, I think we really do limit it. 15 guys, I think we could do better. 800 accounts this summer, I think we could do better. There's regions within Vivint right now who haven't even hit summer yet that are at like 5,700 accounts. Like, I think we could do better. You know what I mean? And so we limit our potential though, and it happens, that's put on ourselves. So there was a Vivint dude, this actually was pretty cool. So he came out, going to California, told the guy, hey, an average rep does 18 a week, 3 a day. Like that's an average alarm guy. And he had never heard any different. So he gets out there, kid put in 21 deals because he didn't want to be average. So when I asked him afterwards, hey, how'd you do that? And he just told me, didn't want to be average. I just don't want to be average. So, but average, as we all know, average is like 5 or 6, more, maybe less. Average is like 3 or 4. But for him, 21 was average. And so we just need to get out of the box. Mentally, you got to get out of the box. And if the mind can believe and conceive, it can achieve. So yeah, I think that our goals need to just be understand that you have to work. You have to work to get there. But is that fair to say? Like, I think we could do better. Is that cool? Is everyone on board with that? Okay. I think so. Like, when I look in this room, it's amazing. I promise you, like, you guys are studs. Like, you're studs and studettes. Okay, you're studs. This is a great crew, and people in this company are great. I see like mooks doing TV that just slay, huh? Like it blows my mind. Sometimes people, it is such an easy sell. Goomba, okay, love Goomba. Okay, I just see it and I'm like, what is going on? This is sharp. This is an intimidating group, and I love it. I think that we could do better. And I know everyone wants to, so. Do you guys have questions on the best practices, books? I could give you books. I've got a list of books, but so in my company emails I send out, and I know all of you are on that thread, I book of the month every time. This next month, I'm gonna use a pretty short book. So the book of the month is actually gonna be Greatest Salesman by Og Mandino, Greatest Salesman in the World. It's great.
Your next book?
That's gonna be.
It's my personal favorite book ever written.
Yeah, don't you listen to it every day?
I read a chapter of it every single day.
What's your favorite quote? The lion one?
The Master of My Emotions.
Yeah, I love that book. So it's short. Like, I'm begging you guys before the summer, please read it. It's very short. It's like.
Let me preface it.
Preface.
It's a little bit cheesy. So it
Little
talks
cheesy.
about the Arab trade route guy. I'm selling silks and robes and carpets. So it's a little bit cheesy, but the principles in that, I don't know.
They're fantastic. So, okay, we'll do that one. Okay? All right. Next point. And I hope this is helping. I hope you guys are writing notes. This stuff this is my best practices. This is what has changed my life. Live by these principles, whether you're with simulcast, whether you're, You know, you finally go out, you want to start your own shoe business, whatever, like please live by these. You will be taken care of. Okay, I've interviewed a lot of people, and these are best practices that are just killer. Okay, so let's talk about social emotional for a second. People skills, a lot of joy in life comes from people skills. Okay, I don't know very many people who are like really fun to be around, exciting, awesome, like build people up. You know that I don't know, they hate their lives. I just don't see that. Like Alex, I love that. I love that it's not, he doesn't have to prove anything to anybody. He doesn't get up here and act like he owns the world. He just has fun. He enjoys his life, and he has a lot of connections with people. And so I try to do the same thing. And in your lives, I promise that your joy and satisfaction levels are directly correlated to what's happening socially in your life and emotionally. Like it's very, very, I think that and spiritual are where the joy comes from in life. Okay, so I put this on here because I think of this all the time. If I need a perspective change, no dying man wishes he had more time at the office. Okay, it just doesn't happen. And I not to get too deep with you, but I am going to get a little deep with you. So has any of you ever lost somebody, like a grandma, a mom, something like that, like close to you? Okay, so I'm going to pick you out, like pretty close family member. Okay, your grandma. So what would you give to have another day with your grandma?
I don't know. I haven't thought about that in a long time.
I mean, think about it. And really think about it. So when it comes down to it, like every day counts. And I think we get lost in the thick of thin. The things that matter most should never be at the expense of things that matter least. And so think about it that way. You've got to give adequate time to the people that matter most when you have to. You won't have success in life if you're not. Okay, this includes, but not limited to, parents, siblings, your kid, like my son, my wife, your spouse, whatever. Give them adequate time. Okay, and this is an activity I recommend you write down, and I really, really do want you to do this. So if you write down a list of what matters most in your life. Okay, just whatever it is, whatever comes to your mind. God, my parents, my siblings, my kid, my wife. Like just write down the things that matter most in your life. Okay, from greatest to least in your mind. And then write down how much time you give each thing each day. This will change your life. This is going to make you a much better person. And I do this, so I do practice what I preach, and this has changed my life. So, because I found out that I was spending more time on, schooling or games or whatever than I was with the things that mattered most. And that's not to say that schooling and games and work and whatever, that's not important. It's just there are more important things out there, okay? So you got to kind of realize that for yourself. No one can teach that. All right. Surrounding yourself with people that bring you up. I do that, okay? I do that because negativity kind of sucks. So you got to be careful. The more negative, it just kind of weighs you down. This is a crappy market. I can't sell here. I can't recruit. There's no way I can do that. TV's not my jam. Like I'm gonna go do alarms instead. Like, you know what I mean? Just stay away from the negativity. You got to be, And then this one I know you probably didn't expect to hear this stuff today. And I get that, but this is critical to your success. So, successful salesmen, we have thick skin. Okay, it is what it is. Like, you guys who've done this a while, you're a callous pros. And you just put your smile on and you get to work, and someone can say whatever, the talk, maybe you'll get upset, but in your heart of hearts, like you put it aside, and then you go out and you just freaking outwork them, you crush it, like that's satisfaction, But for some of you just starting, get ready. Like you take a beating a little bit. But this is huge, okay? You can't ever let someone offend you. Weak is the man who lets his emotions control his actions. Strong is a man who lets his actions control his emotions. You can't let your emotions get the better of you. And so one way that you can master this is forgiveness. It really is. Like, this is the best way to master this. So if someone's done you wrong, whatever. Yes?
So we do one thing at Iconic. So we've all been knocking, and you've got rude people. You've got guys who are just like dicks about it on the door. So we started a thing where at team dinner, we would share Dick of the Day stories. So it turned it
That's-
into like,
that's
whenever
a-
someone's really rude to you, you're like, yes, I got a good Dick of the Day story.
That's sweet.
It kind of turned that bad situation into like,
That is
yeah,
sweet.
I got a good Dick today. Go back to team dinner.
Okay, I don't know if you could, I don't know if you could hear it on the camera. He just says they'd share experiences Dick of the Day. So maybe that's the best practice in some offices.
So that's honestly, it sounds dumb and childish. but
No,
it
it's,
helps a ton.
I'm sure that helps a ton. Love this. Got this from Mr. Baird. So surround yourself with those on the same mission as you. Okay, I just love that. I think this is what we're doing this summer and this year moving forward. We're gonna go get it. Okay, go hunt, and I think that you guys will look back and really be surprised at where you're at 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, 2 years. Like same, Richard, I loved hearing you talk about it a little bit yesterday, but you know, this has been your best year in 15 years of doing TV. You know, this has been your best year.
Well, the most consistent.
Yeah, just consistent. Like, and I love that. So, all right, last thing, okay? So we'll talk about spiritual a little bit. And I know not everyone is religious. I do recommend religion, but so spiritual has to be part of your life. What that means is you've got to be doing something meaningful. So there's people out there who may be quote atheist or whatever, but let's say they get involved in like nonprofit organizations, and they still find there's some good meaning in that. Okay, they still find meaning. I think that religion is important. You know, I do believe obviously in Jesus Christ, and I talk about that in a lot of my trainings with year-round guys, and so people tuning in online, like, yeah, that's important to me. It's critical. But let's talk about some things that you can do. Okay, so these are some things that we can do, and as a team, I do like, as part of our culture as well, doing an activity during the summer, like take a day or a morning or whatever, and let's go just volunteer somewhere as a group. Okay, because we're giving our time, and that's time that we could be making money, and it just kind of gives us the right mentality. But these are some examples of things that I've done and that you can do, and it really does help. So volunteering for nonprofit organizations, donating cans of food. Well, with this nonprofit, I mean, you can do like, there's places you can go and like wash dishes and stuff like that for free. Donate cans of food, give tithing. I love this. So when people ask me to donate, like I always say yes now. If I'm walking down the halls at SUU, which this happens every time I go recruit at SUU, and it's just funny, like I'll have someone come out with their little jar, and I have to do it, you know. But they get me every time because that's on my top 10 actually, to donate whenever possible. So they come with their dang jar, and I'm like, all right, here you go, you know, every time. It just makes me feel better. It helps. Giving talents, so like donating with your talents, that's great. You know, someone asks you to play the piano, and you can play the piano, play the freaking piano. Like, I played drums for the 6th grade middle school. Like, you know, I'm a lot better than that level, and so it's like I humbled myself, and I'll be real with you guys, like I can be honest, it was kind of difficult for me because I'm like, I've played paying gigs, like I've toured a little bit, I've been at like Iowa, like this casino in Iowa, I've played there, I've got paid. You want me to go play for this middle school? I'm like, yeah, I'll do it. So went and played for the middle school, and it was good. Leaving a big tip, that's awesome too. So just little things like that. I mean, these are just examples. Okay, I mean, just getting you guys thinking about stuff more than just the money, because we'll talk money, and you guys will have money, but these are things that are going to create fulfillment in your life, and I want to see you guys as a whole. Okay, once again, my people are my business. I do say that a lot. So this is how I can develop you and how you can develop others, or empower yourself, empower others. I like that motto as well. Okay, so here, this is really at the core of it, and this was put nicely, thank you, Alex. Care about your reps, care about your customers, you'll always have business. So I've never gone without. In fact, there's been a lot of times where I have too many to train. And that's a little side note, that's why I want you guys to develop and grow and be leaders, because I need to plug reps in anyway. Like, it may as well be you guys. You know, I need leaders. I need people who I know if I put this rep in with Caden, if I put this rep in with Jake, like they're gonna be taken care of perfectly. So I need to know that. But anyway, just by caring about people, like I've had more business than I've known what to do with. We've had more reps than I've known what to do with, and that's great. So once again, no dying man wishes he had more money. If you feel good, you'll perform well. So, and I love this scripture, and as much as you've done it unto one of the least of these, my brethren, you've done it unto me. So as we serve others, we serve God as well, which helps me. And then literally, so my spiritual, what I do with spiritual, that's the greatest secret to my success. When people ask me, like, that's it. If you want something in life, you give it first, I promise. If you're hurting for money and you're down to like your last buck and someone asks for it, like, and you give it, I promise you, you will have an abundance come. It's crazy. Like it's crazy. Don't be dumb about it, but like use judgment, but give. When I want something, I give it and it comes back in abundance. And think about this in relationships too. Like if you want love, genuine love, true love, give it first. If you want forgiveness, give it first. Like who's easier to change? Your spouse, girlfriend, whatever, or you? Like it's way easier to change you. Change yourself. Okay? So that's really those are my 4, okay, the things that I work on and develop myself. And there is a business side of that as well in recruiting that we'll get to when we go over our recruiting system. But if you guys do this, just spend time on these 4 aspects of your life, you'll have huge, huge results. And I have some principles of success I'll go over at the very end of the day that I'm going to save for last, the 5 laws of success that I love. But that's really my secret sauce. So that's how I've gotten to where I am. And I know there's a lot of owners out there who are like, oh, just go out and work and recruit. And that's not it. There's so much more that goes into it, okay? So this is the personal side. Our next 2 segments will be training and then recruiting, which has to kind of go in that order. But like I said, I'm a systems freak, so we'll do it, okay? Questions first on this stuff. Anything really? I think I laid out pretty simple, right? This is if you were to title this anything, I would call this one, building a system development. And this is, I'm literally going to go through all of my best practices, best principles, how I built teams with Vivint and how I built this. The cool thing as well about the Vivint experience is like they didn't pay the best at all in the alarm world, so I never competed with money. And I think that's cool. Me and Alex have had a lot of talks about that, and he mentioned that too, that he doesn't pitch on money. I don't either. I think obviously money keeps people short term, but not long term. So there's a lot more to this job than money, so that was kind of cool. All right, here we go. So super simple job, it really is. Sales is really, really simple. It's just a lot of the time you're not taught the most relevant information. Like I said, there's a couple myths out there, one of which being sell super well and we'll just give you a team, like we'll recruit for you, we'll give you guys and you'll just go and manage and you'll be successful and it'll be awesome. And then what ends up really happening is it sets a false expectation, and 2, you don't really have a training process. And so what happens is you get a big influx of guys you can't retain, they go somewhere else, they don't have this experience. And we call that in the industry, we call that churn and burn, and that's a model that a lot of people use, like go out and recruit a bunch, burn them. Recruit, burn. So, but what I mentioned here, so I like this quote, 1,000 people are hacking at the leaves, and only one person in that 1,000 is hacking at the root, taking care of the root. So if we can focus on the root and do what's right, 1 year, 2 year, 3 years, you guys are going to be a lot better off and a lot further ahead in your lives, goals, whatever, than the competition. And I like that, Consistency is key. I'm glad that you're having those successes, and just wait, man. 2 years, 3 years, it's going to get good for you. So here's my steps. I thought about how can I boil this down to the most simple thing, and so these are them. Learn to sell is step 1. I talked about this, and become self-sufficient. And we've spent a great deal of time on that, but I'm still going to touch a little bit on personal systems. But you have to have that happen. So sometimes reps will tell me, hey, I'll come on board if I can have 7 reps, or I've literally had someone tell me that. No way. In this industry, it's earned. Success is earned. It's not just given. And so I always remind people of that. Number 2, you have to learn to properly train. So there's a lot of training systems out there. I think of the classic, I go to the Bible for it, but by their fruits you shall know them. So if your training system is not yielding the fruit you want, there's probably a problem with the system, so we need to tune that up. Okay, and then part 3 is just learning to recruit the right way. So usually how it is, it's a little backwards. Go out, sell, do well, and then just recruit like crazy and you'll be a manager and it'll be awesome. And that's not how it works. It really isn't. So having your systems in place, I want to ask you guys just kind of your thoughts on what a system is. Just No wrong answer. Yeah.
Self-sustaining.
So self-sustaining. Maybe expound a little bit. I'll grab my chair.
Completes like an objective or a goal that is self-sustaining, that is, it's something that gets, I don't know, something that gets something from point A to point B.
Okay.
Self-sustaining or,
I actually like that a lot. I think you've touched on a couple really cool words there, like it has objectives. Can you accomplish objectives? I think that's right on the money. Get you from point A to point B. That's good. Anything else?
Kind of like the point A to point B, but then like a cycle of point A to point B.
Like a cycle? A cycle from A to B.
A cycle with the objective, and then the cycle just continues.
Okay. Perfect. Well-oiled machine.
Step-by-step process that's duplicatable.
Step-by-step process is duplicatable. Okay, I think that's like a textbook answer, so good job. We'll stop there. That's perfect. Let me move this chair again. Okay, so step-by-step process, it's duplicatable. I like that. I would add, I love the objective. I love the being able to, have that again and again. If your process is duplicatable and it achieves the results that you want, it's a success. Okay, so let's talk about us individually. Okay, so I talked about this already, taking advice from people that we want to switch places with. So you have to be selling well. I mean, that is true. That's got to happen. Before you can build a great program, you kind of have to know what you're doing. And it's the same in whatever field you go into, but you've got to be an expert in your field, or people aren't going to want to take advice, or not going to want to build around you. You've got to prove it. So learning to sell is worth the time. I hear a lot of the time new reps will come on and go, hey, I want to make 6 figures. And I love that. I really do. But think about this, like an average person, how long it takes average to achieve 6 figures if they ever do. Like, what's the path that has to happen? I think doctor, lawyer, things like that. You're in school 8 years, 10 years, you're taking on $500,000 of debt. So it is almost unfair to say, hey, I'm going to come on out for a summer. I'm not going to spend much time beforehand because school is super stressful. And like I said, this isn't bad. You just can't expect to put in no time and then go out for a summer and make 100 grand. And the reason why is it's not fair. That's shortcutting the process. If everyone could do that, heck, I would have done that a long time ago too. And that was my first goal. Go out and make 100 grand. And so what happened was I didn't study at all. I went out for like 2.5 months of the summer. I didn't stay the whole summer. And I made 21 grand. And when I look back on that, that's fair. That was fair. In fact, that was great for me. So that's what I pulled in. Nothing to write home about, but I put in that time. I put in that time to earn 21,000, and then I worked my butt off and made about 40. It was roughly 43,000 at year 2. And so to come on and just think, hey, I'm gonna just go out and sell super well right off the bat. I mean, yeah, I love that. I love the zeal, but just understand that it takes time. Okay, it takes time. If it takes you 3 years to make 6 figures, that's better than anyone else. That's super cool, actually. 4 years, 5 years, super cool. And if you can be financially free in 10 years, dude, yes. So understand that it really is worth the time, okay? Also, the thing I love about sales is if you learn to do it right, you can provide in any time. And there's guys in here that know that. If everything goes down tomorrow, we can still provide for our families, and I love that. So, and then this is nice too. So I put on here that, being independent or self-sufficient means you don't need anybody else to help you sustain life. So there's certain people who are like, hey, I'm ready to build a team. And then they ask for upfronts, they ask for this, they ask for that. You're probably not ready yet, okay? Being self-sufficient means that you can live your life. You're responsible. That's what I put down there. So you're able. Okay, you can go, and if you need to fly someone out or rent a cart, you could do that. You want to be in that position. Of course, I'm helping you guys, and that's fine. But I'm in a position now where I can. Like summer housing, that's me. I don't have someone paying for that, so I can do that now though because of my personal sales. And when I first started Simulcast, I was trying to get techs and I was trying to do all that. But what if I didn't sell at all? There wouldn't have been any money. So I had to sell, and I had to learn how to create a system where I had this time for office, this time, and I'll share that with you guys. I spent, usually it was about 8 to 12 was just office stuff. That was it. I mean, because I had to get things down. I had to know what I was doing. So 8 to 12 was just all the back end things that you guys don't see. And then about 12 to 2 was recruiting. And then it was 2 to 6 was selling time. And then 6 to 9 was usually like time with, you know, Alex or Jamie, or just kind of learning, hey, or finding a tech. That was usually my evening times. So going into different commercial locations and just trying to get a fulfillment tech to be our tech. Like calling off the side of the trucks. But I was still able to do over 10 a week thanks to the skill set I had learned, and that was able to fuel and pay my bills and keep the business running while I was getting other things going. So yeah, in its simplest form, so selling, I think people overcomplicate it. All you're doing is adding value. That's it. Okay, we just add value. So you need to get adequate time, and that's where systems are effective. So I have a lot of people that will get out at 4 or 5, maybe tuning in on this, and that's unacceptable. You can't sell like that. So you've got to give yourself adequate time. So here's some systems that I use. Okay, and I talked about this a little bit before, but wake up at a set time and then have your morning schedule. Get your swole on, read great material, train, role play. Like you need this, and I'm talking personal role play. Like I used to pitch Haley all the time, and she hated it. She gets so mad, but I need to practice. Please just let me pitch you. And she's like, okay. So I would just practice. Like it's okay. It's okay to do that stuff. You know, learn a new hobby. We talked about that. So this is my personal system on a day-to-day. So, and these are just ideas actually. If for you guys, whatever you like, take away from this, that's great. Whatever you don't, reject it. That's fine too. But I would encourage you to do things that are uncomfortable. So wake up at a set time and have your schedule from here on out. I would do that with school too. So like have a system with school. When I was going to college, I was able, because I wasn't working, because I did good in the summers, but I set 8 to 5 every day, and I never ever once, not one time, did I have homework on Friday night, Saturday, or Sunday. Never once in college. And I got 3.9 GPA. So, and I did it. 8 to 5 was college. That was it. And when I was there, I was there. I wasn't Facebooking. I was just 8 to 5. That's college. Because I just figured that was and usually I would end about 3 o'clock on Friday and be done with everything, caught up on homework, tests, everything, done. Never Friday, Saturday, that's crazy, huh? Never once. For like 2.5 years, it was sweet. Anyway, so you can do the same with school. I separate my knocking days into 3 days rather than 1. It helps me. So if I've got a 1 to 4 slot, that's a day. And because you can do anything for 3 hours, right? You know? So 3 hours, I can do anything. And then after that, I'd get out a granola bar and mental reset. Boom. Break the granola bar up, eat it, and that was like, that day's done. And if I didn't sell on that day, that's fine. I got 2 more days, you know? So then I'd go out so I'd separate 4 to 6 and 6 to 8. And then actually try to get 1 after 8. So, and usually you can get 3 to 4. Like it's a good way to get 3 to 4 a day. So you just separate your days. Like, and what do I need to do from 2 to 5 or 1 to 4 to get my first sell? Like, who do I have to talk to? I probably have to look for the right prospects, find the elderly, find, your people who, maybe there's a big work truck, maybe it looks like they might work at nights, whatever. I don't know. Like, you just got to find that. So, and then you just get better at each day. So this one might be hard for you guys, especially you guys all have some recruits, right, that are coming out. You've got a couple. Okay. So this is really, really hard, but I encourage you to do this big time. I had to do this when I was starting out simulcasting with Vivint a lot. But make 4 to 9 or something like that your sacred knocking time. So don't answer phone calls. Unless it's a rep that's in a home. And then you just let your reps know that, hey, if you're in a home, you need help closing, call me. Because then obviously that's priority. So it kind of goes back to my priorities. But you need to understand as well, you guys have dreams and you have goals, and you need to have that time for you. Because if not, things will get in the way. And at 6 o'clock, it's perfect. Someone calls you, hey, what's up, buddy? Like, just text them, boom. But if it's a rep and you answer it, hey, what's up? And they're like, hey, I'm in a home, I need help, take it, But I always had my reps understand, if you're not in a home and you don't need help with something drastic, like, I won't answer my phone, I'm going to answer and I'm going to ask what it is. And if it's not, I'm going to hang up. And they're like, okay. No one gets mad at that. Fair? So that's an idea for you guys, like no distractions, because this is going to be your time to make money for you. And especially as you build, keep that, you still need that time. So you'll have 15, 20, 25 reps. I believe that to be true. Still keep your time. And then, this is a huge one. So I really do encourage you guys to take time to review your day and write in a journal. I've been doing that, and it's great. It'll help you actually be better with your words as well, because you have to put it down on paper. So you'll be better with your words. And then obviously your children and your grandchildren, they can like see what you've gone through. And I think generational wealth is more than just financially passing them down something. It's passing them down a skill set and a knowledge. And this is a way to do that. It's literally like your family scriptures. You know, this is what dad went through. So do that. You know, this is how he got his own practice. This is what he did to make money so he could do theater. Like that's fantastic. And then wind down time. So at night, I've still got wind down time. I need to be better about Facebook, and that's something I kind of want you guys to keep me honest with as we do fun stuff. Like, let's take pictures. Please help me be better with that. That's something Alex says well that I don't. I'm really bad on Facebook because to me, I get on Facebook and then I waste time. So I don't get on Facebook, and I should, because that is a huge recruiting tool that I'm missing out on. And I've actually have people hitting me up at the very little posts that I do. Every time I post, I get someone who's like, "Oh, that looks fun." So he's right. That's how he gets most of his dealers. Anyway, so please help me with that. But this is something that you could do at night. You know, that's when you could post up. And then relaxation and books. I like to read before I go to bed as well. So I audio during the day. I physically read something at night. And I'll physically read my scriptures in the morning. And then get to bed at a decent hour. Don't let people ruin your system. So unless you're on these retreats, I actually think this has been fantastic. I think it's been really fun, and I'm glad we've stayed up. It's been cool. So I don't usually do that, and it's been nice to get to know you guys a little better. Especially a lot of you I already, I know, but I haven't gotten to know you. All right, good on that personal system. Okay, that's my personal system. I do that every time. The reason, it's a replicable process. You can do that. You just have to do it every day. And it's I don't know the right quote for it, but essentially the things that are, I found it. The things that are commonplace aren't always common practice. So, it's obviously, that's a good idea, but that doesn't mean everyone does it. So that'll be good. Okay, so learning to train. So we shift gears. I love this, and I love what Alex had talked about. But so I already talked about this. We don't get paid for recruits brought in. We only get paid for accounts created. That's it. So if accounts aren't being created, we're not getting paid. And honestly, we're not making a difference in our reps' lives if they're not making money, because then they're going to be like, "Oh, I'm so depressed. I'm out of here. Peace." So we need to learn how to train. And then here's some principles. So consistent, and that's what I like. So what Alex does, that's not necessarily a one size fits all. I love what you brought up about kids in college can't do 5 hours on Monday. There's no way. There's no way, because and especially you got to think of it from their lens and their perspective. At that given moment, whether college is like the most important for their life really or not, it's been taught that it is. And so you have to understand, that's their background. I'll sit down for a sec while I get on the soapbox, but that's their background. So you can't expect someone to give up 5 hours when they're thinking, I don't know if I'm going to do this. I don't know. So I understand. I mean, that's a huge, huge point. But a consistent schedule, like showing that you have consistency, will help you separate yourself miles. And even within Vivint, that's how our program did well. It was just giving people consistency. Then that wasn't taught, by a company. So I want to teach you guys that principle, not necessarily, hey, this is the schedule you have to live by, but if you are consistent, it's going to give reps consistency. And if they can see that this isn't a scary job anymore, and I hope you guys are starting to kind of catch that vision. Like, this is not scary. People do this job and make great money. It's not scary. Okay, it's sales. And sales is life, whether you want to admit it or not. So you have to sell somebody every day. So desired outcomes. Thanks for hitting that, Jacob, because we'd have to have desired outcomes. So, and I have details on that. So incorporating culture building in those trainings, that's got to happen. So how we would accomplish this and how we continue to do so. So during your week that you've got, I think it's important to have times where you say, this is why we do this, because this is hitting this key principle to us. So during my sales training, I try to teach you guys a bunch, let's be genuine. And that's part of, character. Let's be genuine, that's got to be in there. Also, the way that I recruit, I sit down with people one-on-one. That's my orientation, because I feel like the other way is a little gimmicky. Hey, here's who we are. Check out our PowerPoint. For the masses, that's cool. but I would have the objective to sit down one-on-one with people, because then I can tell you. And I've sat down with pretty much everyone in here, not everyone, and you know when I sit down with you, you already know the stuff I go over, but it's just getting it from me. Okay, I want to cover the big four, and I want to cover your goals, and I want to know where you're coming from. And that is how I incorporate our culture building into our training programs. Okay, focusing on the needs of your individual, not your pocketbook. We've hit that a bunch. That just has to be part of it. I think, understanding their why, and then assign roles and responsibilities. So I like Alex is having this and having that and having this, but you guys as managers, if you take all of that on yourself, it's a little too much. So I think that's a flaw in the industry that we can fix. So for instance, I want, with your summer program that you're gonna have, and I've talked to TB about roles and responsibilities already, we need to have a party planner. That's gotta happen. Because it's stressful. You go out and work and then you have to come home and be the party guy. I think so, I think you'd be great at that. But you just have a party planner, and your job literally in the morning, just take 10 minutes and go over cool activities for the week. What are we gonna do that's cool and fun? So this house, if this was our summer house, I would make the party planner, make up tournament table tennis brackets, freaking creative bracket, make it cool, incentive it, man, hit me up. Hey, whoever wins the tourney for whoever has the most wins by the end of the month gets $50. I'll sponsor that. I'll pay that. You know what I mean? Just party planner, good times. Also somebody who, and you could do this too, but maybe have help with it. Plan your big activities, because we're gonna have at least three huge activities through the course of it, where it's a 2 or 3 day thing. So lake, amusement parks, let's go big. Let's go really big with this. And it'll be fun. So other roles, I love having a call out guy. So I know he said every Thursday do it different. I think you get a stud and or an annoying guy. And everyone knows you've got a guy in your office that's like a Chris Morgan, perfect throwdown guy. You know what I mean? Or Brad at the meetings, there's perfect guys out there, Love you, Brad, but it's just that's a perfect role where he sells well. So this is a guy a stud who sells really well, and you pay him a little extra for calling people out. So once a week at random, he just calls people out, and if he wins this challenge, he gets extra money for it. So let's say the throwdowns for 5 deals over a weekend, the prize is $125 pair of Nikes. He gets $150. So he just gets $25 extra if he wins. And if he loses, oh well. Then that guy, but you want it to be somebody that's either a stud or that somebody doesn't really want to lose to. It's the best. So I always have roles, and we'll talk about this later, but that's got to be part of your program. You need roles and responsibilities. And you definitely, as we do that beacon approach in Cedar, we need guys who can train too. And so you'll have multiple guys in this room that can train. All right, here you go. So this is my year-round program. It's actually very similar, but this would help your college kids a lot better. So I'm gonna move to the other side of the board so we can see it. So I go over equipment channel price day 1, and this is just in-class training because they don't have time to go knock and spend 5 hours. I get that. This is all online, by the way. So you need to have your guys get on there. There's a test online they can take on ECP, and then it has how to call in a deal as well, which I know that was a struggle, right? Yes, okay, that's on there. So for new reps, and this is good that you're here, for new reps need to understand that this material is there, and I would have your day 1 in class, you cover this. And if you only have an hour for day 1 or 30 minutes, have them come prepared with this ready to go. And then all you have to do is quiz them. If they know their stuff, they know their stuff. You could be done with that meeting in 30 minutes. And you can get a college kid to give you 30 minutes, right? 30 minutes is not a problem, okay? Number 2, I go over sales cycle. There's videos online for that as well. So if they come and they're prepared, and you've seen them now?
I've seen everything online.
Pretty good? Okay, the material's pretty good. I'm not saying it's perfect yet because it's a rough draft on everything, but it is good content. Yeah, everything we've gone over. So I'll have them do that. So on my 2 days, really, they don't even see a door, And then day 3, and Taylor, shout out to you. You've done a good job with this. You've gone out and you've shown people a deal, and I love that. And if it takes an hour, I am okay in the year-round model, doing it just for an hour. If you only have an hour, that's fine. You don't need to spend all day. Go out and get a deal and show them it's possible. I always put the first deal in my name. I know a lot of, I used to actually put it in my rep's name, but I realized that what that did, it crippled them. So I have a lot of guys in Houston that I put the deal in their name and they're not here anymore. And that everyone who's earned their deals, they're still with me. So shout out to the people in Houston that are still doing it. But the ones that I've left, I took them out and I put the deal in their name, knowing full well they could do it themselves. But I wanted to, like, I don't know, just show them I was nice. It was the dumbest thing. So I feel bad about it. I think I crippled them. And then day 4, yeah, you can help him or her close their own deal. I actually do like letting them struggle themselves. That's fine, but I think helping them out works as well. If you're gonna give a deal, give it that way. And then day 5, they can shadow another rep if they need. But that's kind of my 5-day. So it's a little different, same kind of principles. I think you could do a fusion of the two. Ideally, I do like the doing blitzes every weekend, but sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. Luckily, we have enough studs in here that we could, and you could just run them differently. So it's like, Jacob, this is your time. You know, this is your trip, and even on that, have a little extra incentive. Caden, it's your trip. You're, you know, a little extra incentive for it, and so you could do it that way. So you're not getting burnout. I think getting you on some 2-week blitzes would be good though, so that you can like get out for full, and it would be the same for you. Like get out for a while, because you could do 25, 35 accounts and then really kill it. All right, so my summer model, here's how I do my summer model. So correlation meetings, roles and responsibilities I already talked about, but that's huge for culture. So I have a guy, actually I have a music DJ, that's how we get pumped up. So like you got your DJ, they're coming in, Linkin Park's going, dun, 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 dun. You know, it's like getting ready, starts hitting, people are getting pumped, you know, shut up, I'm not talking to you. You know, like getting pumped. Like that's how I get my offices going, you know, just start like mosh pitting up there, and it helps people feel good. Like you guys are smiling, it's fun, okay? So I kill it, get up there with that. I've got my numbers guy, he's ready, he's pumped up, yeah, let's do it, you know, how many do you do today? And we do barks and claps, and I think Drew's asleep, so if I slap that wall, I'm gonna get slapped in the face. So I won't, but anyway, and they'll say like, Dane, how many do you do? And Dane's like 2, and then 2, and we go like, oh, and everyone's like clapping, oh, like, yeah, I love it. I freaking love barks and claps. I love that. I think it's perfect. The guy who's the numbers guy's got to be good too. You know what I mean? He's got to be selling consistently, but he's a numbers guy. I mean, he gets up and he kills it. Okay, so you go over your numbers from the other day, woo, and that's where you can throw out, you know, King of the Week as well as like a role that I've had in the past where, and they get into it, man. They'll bring like a scepter and a crown and like, yeah, King of the Week. And if it's like a most improved rep, they sit them down, they get the scepter, get the crown, get a little incentive as well with it. So I've done that and I love it. Just those are the kind of things that like will kill it with your culture, and people will get back and they'll be like, dude, this is how our summer went, and it's not your standard summer, and that's fun. Then I do a quick training relevant to the reps, use ratios. So I have all my reps keep ratios. So it's like, how many people have you talked to? How many doors have you gotten in? How many have you called up like to qualify a credit, and how many have you sold? Those are my 4 key principles. And so if they've talked to 20 people and have gotten in 1 home, I need to help them there. That's where training needs to happen. Then I can say, hey, Caden, you do really well with that. Can you just run a training on that tomorrow? Yeah, I'm there, boss. Okay, cool, let's do it. He runs a training. The reps are like, sweet, I got it. And then it's not coming from you all the time. You know, it's coming from other people. And then like, let's say they've gotten in 5 houses, called 1, but closed 0. Well, obviously we need to get them better at the close. So we go over that, you know. Quick motivation, love that. I love that you guys already do that. And then we just hit it. We hit it after that. And you can do a little cheer if you want, you know. Dane gives the best cheers. So one year he just went, we're gonna sell, like that. And it just, we went and had a huge day. So that was the chant. Dane, you got chant today. We're gonna sell. And we just went and killed it. So it works. You go hit it. Yeah, chants are good. I do. I like getting in the circle, you know, kind of, I like that. It's fun. Get everyone pumped up, you know. Anyway, I'm just thinking of some of the, yeah, oh man. Anyway, okay, so yeah, during the summer, I just made a note here. There's really not as much time for shadowing. So a lot of the big mistakes of sales companies is that first month, like the manager is spending all his time shadowing. Don't do that. Just maybe get together an hour early. like for the first month. Just have a little extra time in the morning with reps. That's what I would do. I wouldn't do a ton of shadowing because you need to go hit it too. So do it for the first little while, but some reps will come back to you 4, 5, 6 times like, I need to see you sell again. They really don't. That's really not going to help them at all. What they need to do is they need to get their ratios, and then you can help them on the ratios. If they have a legit, this is where I'm struggling, like help me, that rep is going to go succeed. If someone's like, I can't sell, I need to shadow you, I don't know. I wouldn't really take them out. So does that make sense? Good? That's how it goes. And I know some of this is like over heads, but thanks for bearing with me. Okay, and then learning to recruit. So this we're actually going to do a little training and practice in a little bit, but so you guys all kind of think that getting people in the door is the hard part. Maybe not all of you think that, because I know all of you have had experience just recruiting. Like there's some recruiting monsters in here. That's not the problem. So the thing that keeps people from recruiting is like, what do I do with this guy next? You know, so that it's true. The onboarding process really is kind of flawed. What do I do with this rep next? And that's why it's so important to have your conveyor belt training system. So like, you know. So for me, my recruiting process is I make an initial contact and then I sit down with them. My objective of the contact is to sit down with them. It's not to recruit them on the spot. It's not, hey Scott, thanks for coming to my boot camp. Let's do this. Let's sign you up right now. Like, that's not it. I'd rather say, hey man, obviously you're looking into some things. You've got options. That's fine. Let's sit down. You're free tomorrow at 3 o'clock. Yeah. And if I sit down with someone, I really feel like it's going to be a waste of time, I'll give them a shot to come and do some preseason, but I'm not going to, I don't know, man. I'm not going to be so invested that if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. You know, there's some people that it's not going to work. But anyway, that's my 2 cents on this. If you have a good training program, you can plug anyone into it. Like I firmly believe 99% of people are bred for sales. They just don't know it yet. You know, there is a 1% that's like, but I don't feel like I run into that very often. Someone who just can't do it. I think everyone can do it because everyone sells something anyway. But yeah, so let's talk about these principles. So these are some things that I do and could be better at. Here, I'm sorry, I know you can't see that too well, but so connecting with as many individuals as possible. You guys are incredible at that, so I don't need to teach you how to do that. Like, kissed every girl in school, waiting for the next freshman class to come in. Like, you know, you guys know how to connect. Okay, you connect all the time. So as far as your social media goes, it makes it easy. That's how I get a lot of recruits outside of Utah. That's how you'll get them. So social media really does make it pretty simple. So it's a skill, like selling. It can be developed, and you guys are going to have to fail a bunch before you get it down. I'm sorry to say that, but you will. You're going to have to fail. And I know some of you who have your team now, like, you've gone through hundreds of reps. I've gone through hundreds of reps. I really have. And I've made a lot of mistakes, and I've lost some studs. I really have. I mean, I had some guys that if this was the opportunity and I knew what I knew now, they would be killing it. But I didn't know what I was doing, and I lost them. And it is what it is, but you have to do that. You have to fail to succeed sometimes. And then be genuine. Doing what you say what you do is huge in recruiting. And then just never burning your bridge. I think this is pretty simple stuff.
And run around campus and be like, hey, do you guys want a drum? And then they'd be like, no. And we'd be like, yeah, you do. And we'd talk to them and be like, what are you guys doing this summer? And just like cold contacting.
Sweet. So cold contact is what he said. Raffles. So it'd be like a raffle for $100 gift card or something, like come to our meeting. Cool. See, that works. What else? You do anything back there different, Jake?
I would honestly, I think one of the most effective ways is just recruits you already have. Like,
Recruits of recruits.
yeah, because like that's what really builds like big summers when people are friends and know each other and stuff like that. That's when a lot of success comes to. And like, if you get, I mean, obviously there's people who aren't maybe gonna have friends that do summer sales and they're gonna be just, you know, just as successful. But there's a lot of power in just reaching out to people who you already know some of your reps.
Cool. I think you're spot on. Okay, I think why I was asking that is you guys already know how to get people in the door. I just wanted to show you that. Like, you know how to do it. It works. Like, we get recruits. It's just the sit down, like I think that's the big difference. So my sit down process is how I've kept and retained reps. And then I love this quote that I put up there. So it's old school thinking. I know in talking with Richard, a lot of the time what they would do is it's kind of like this old spaghetti at the wall method, and they just get a group like this. So let's say this is a recruiting meeting, I'd get jacked. I'm just like so pumped to see you guys. Like, yeah, guys, what's up? It's just so good to see you. Hey, this is who we are. We're the best. Who wants to make money today? Anyone? Who wants to make money? Then someone raised their hand, and it's like, let's go sell. And then I take you, and it's like, Richard, you go with Caden, and they go and they just sell, and it's money, and it's money, money, money. And you guys have all been there now and done that where, hey, Scott, come sell with me. It's 20,000. You'll make 20,000 this summer. Guarantee 20,000. Like, that's the golden number at SUU these days. It's like 20,000. Hey, come make 20,000 bucks. Isn't that weird? Money's not everything. I promise you, you'll retain your reps by not talking about money. When I talk about retaining reps as well, so I already touched on this, but overrides, there's this weird stigma out there that like an override is something that's just given if you've paid the price for a certain amount of time. It's something you've got to earn over time. And I would hope you guys understand this. Like, if I earn your business and if I earn the right to work with you, like I hope you understand at any time, you also have the right to leave. And if I don't keep you because I'm not providing value for you, that's my fault. That's my fault. I don't care if there's non-competes with other companies and you go work for another company, I'm not going to throw a fit. That was my fault. Okay? I lost you. I should have been better. So we have to earn our overrides. We have to develop our people and get them to the next level, okay, and invest in them. So I want to do a little training and practice just because this is all principles that have been hit today, and I think it's like, I've heard this already. So let's just do some practicing, okay? So here's how I do an initial contact. Switch gears. So I know that a lot of you do college recruiting. This is my process. So I follow the same thing as the door approach, but this is the big differences. So when I'm out there, this pullback, I pull back super hard in recruiting. I pull back really, really hard. And what I mean, and I'm not a jerk about it, but your pullback is probably your greatest weapon. So if I'm recruiting a guy on campus, let's say I see Lance. I'm like, hey, Lance. Or let's say I don't know him at all. I just go, hey, man, what's your major? I always ask, like, what's their major? You know? Marketing. That's perfect. And now I'm going to go into this. That's good, man. I'm Robert. It's good to meet you. That's the only time I really am like, this is who I am. On the doorstep, I never say that, but I'm Robert. Good to meet you, man. What I'm doing. So I just tell them, hey, I've got an internship for the summer. And if it's Utah, everyone knows it's sales anyway. So I just say, hey, man, I know that you probably get hit up by sales companies all the time. It looks like you're talented. Okay, I run a dealer. Or you can say I run a system or whatever you want. I run a summer, okay, for a new company called Simulcast. Great opportunity. What's in it for them and you, okay? Assuming, and I do a pullback like all the time, but assuming you'd be able to fit our program, okay, this is going to be an opportunity for you to not only make money, but become a better individual at all aspects. For us, obviously, having you, it builds our program too, okay? Then I pull back, and I say, I don't know if you could do it. That's the hard part, you know? Obviously, there's a lot of sales companies that are going to throw money at you. There's a lot of sales companies that claim it's this, that, and the other, and it's rainbows, and it's not, okay? It's pretty difficult. My job would obviously be to help you get there, but I don't know, okay? What are you doing tomorrow? Like, I go right into just setting an appointment. What are you doing tomorrow at 3? You know? And it's like, oh, I'm busy. That's fine. Let's do a sit down. Like, when are you free? And they'll say, I'm free whatever time. I'll say, okay, cool. Look, all I want to do is, and I just kind of re-explain, okay, my sit-down training, I just say, all I want to do is just explain who I am, kind of what's in it for you as well. If it's a win, let's do it. If not, that's not a problem, okay? And that's my approach. That's what I do every time. So this is the biggest problem that people have initially, like recruiting. Hey, man, how you doing? Great, dude. Hey, I'm in a sales company. It's called Vivint. I'm sure you've heard of it. Like, yeah, you know who we are. Okay, cool. Well, look, man, We're just grabbing some college kids out here, giving you the opportunity to go make 20 grand this summer. How would you like to make 20 grand this summer?
That's a lot of money, that'd be nice.
Yeah, I know, dude. It's crazy. Yeah, people do it all the time. So anyway, we have this like pizza party coming up. Why don't you come on out to it? Like, let's do that.
Pizza.
Okay, cool. Come tomorrow. And that guy's not coming. He's not coming. He's not going to show up to your pizza party. Like, you could do that to 30 guys. They're not going to show up, okay? So my objective in the initial contact is to sit down with them. That's it. That's it. Okay? And I get recruits a lot by just doing that. So who you are, what you're doing, what's in it for them and you, the pullback. Okay, the pullback is super important. And then another example of a pullback is this. Like, hey, I know that you've been hit up by a lot of, so I'd be like, Caden, I know you get hit up all the time. And I like legit would say this to you because I know that you already ran a summer. I know you get hit up all the time to do sales. Okay, I'm not asking you to do that. I'm asking you to come build a program and do something great. I don't know if you can do it. I'm not sure. And that's why I think we need to sit down on it. Obviously, you're interested in a bigger opportunity, right? Okay, and that's a no-brainer. Everyone's gonna say yes. And I go, cool. I'm not asking you to commit to me, but what are you doing tonight at like 7? I'll be like, I got a date. And I go, when are you know, because sometimes I try to blow you off. That's fine. So blow you off, just get them to set a commitment, sit down with them. Like, okay? That's something we're missing big time. So you gotta boom, boom, boom. When I sit down with somebody, I feel like this is where I've got the edge. So I've got some talents, but this is my best secrets. You know what I mean? This is the talent. And there are tricks, I guess, but not really. What it comes down to is how you live outside of the recruiting. Like, that's what makes the difference. Everything we've gone over, step 1, step 2, getting your training in place, all of that, like that is a prerequisite to having a successful step 3, this recruiting process here. But if you do this sit down right, I'm telling you, it's gonna change everything for you. Okay, your initial contact, you guys know how to make initial contacts. You have a book of business, you have friends, you have people that could be here and could benefit from this. Like, everyone knows somebody that could benefit from this, period. But the step 2, the sit down to get them to my meetings, which by the way, that's the objective of my sit downs, is to get them to the meeting. If I don't get them to a meeting, it's still a fail. You know what I mean? So you want them, I obviously want them onboarded and stuff, but I want them at my meeting. So here it is. So I go over principles before I go over practices. So here's my principle: being genuine at this is the most important thing you could do. And the way that you can show that you care, I mean, and be genuine, I get a pen out usually and a paper, and I'll write down stuff on a paper. So I have it, or on my iPad, I like to write stuff down because then you know I'm listening. And it's funny, it works both ways. Like, I've seen people writing notes through this conference, and it makes me feel validated. Kind of weird, huh? But it makes me like, oh, thanks guys. You're listening, like you're taking something from it, something sticking out to you. And so when I do that with people, it's a little different. It creates a different environment altogether. Also, I do, this isn't in there, but I look them straight in the face a lot. Like, I'm with them. Okay, I'm with them. There's nothing more important. I don't answer my phone either, and I know that's not up there, but I just stay with them. Okay, it's just me and you, and that's it. Nothing else matters. Nothing else matters. It's just them. Okay, so I go over the big 4, how it applies to business, and I'd like to teach you that now. So you're all my recruit right now, and this is how we'd sit down and go over this. I would tell you this. Okay, there's 4 things that are going to keep you at a job. After, hey, I appreciate you, but I say this. There are 4 things that are going to keep you at a job. I would like to share them with you. Okay, the first thing is physical. So in other words, and I didn't write them down because I wanted you to listen on this one, so I didn't actually write down individually, but so physical, that's your paycheck. Like, obviously you need to make money or you're not going to stay at a job. That makes sense to everybody. Like, I get it, money doesn't buy happiness, but money can cause a lot of stress in people's lives and can put real tension in your marriage. Like, it can put real stress on you, and I'm telling you right now, when you don't have money problems, life looks a lot better. It does. When you don't have daunting payments, life looks a lot better. Okay, so when I talk to my recruits, yes, physical, that needs to be there. Obviously, that's putting food on the table. We do not miss payments. So that's something I pride myself on. And in Utah, not many people get screwed on pay. Sometimes I guess back ends are wrong, but outside, so especially people online right now and stuff, but they've experienced a lot of that. And Richard, you've experienced a lot of that, where dealers are like, hey man, here's what you're gonna get paid. You went out and threw in 10 deals, you didn't get paid. Like, not what you were promised.
More than one dealer.
Yeah, well, in fact,
Twice in the last year.
yeah.
In the 3 months part of the year.
Yeah, Sat Dudes did it to us. Sat Dude did it to me too.
Jim do it, and then I
Huh?
skip Sat News, and then they did both of those.
Yep, Sat Dude's got us, man. So I've been there too. I feel like when I sit down with somebody, I need them to know I will pay you. You know, so I say I will pay on time. I will. Everything that I promise you guys, you will be paid. Period. The integrity is not worth an extra buck to me. And so that's what I tell them. Okay, physical, it's going to keep you around. People make good money. Let's say on average you make $200 a sell, which actually is shooting a little low, but I like to do that in the meeting before they see my pay scales. On average, let's say you make $200 a deal. If I can teach you to make 1 sell a day, 6 days a week, you're going to make $1,200 a week. That's enough to live on. Okay, that's how I pitch it. That's it. That's all I do with money. That's all I do with physical. So obviously, so to recap, I know that money's like important. It's going to keep you at your job, okay? But it's a hygiene factor. It's not going to keep you there forever. We will pay on time. We always pay on time, okay? We'll do everything that we say we're going to do. You'll make, let's say on average you make $200 a sell. You do 6 a week. You can do the math on that. That's enough to live on, okay? My job is to get you to a place where you're not average though. Average sales reps in the summer really do double figure it up all the time, like double digits. But that's what I do on physical. That's it. Okay, so then on that, I just move right on to the next, because I tell them this. Here's my transition phrase. It's not going to keep you, okay? It's not going to keep you at the job, and I know that. So let's talk about the other 3 things that are important to you. And I'll write these down with them. So I'll say, hey, let's talk a little bit about mental, okay? I'm sure, and if it's somebody older who's done maybe other jobs, or something like that, oftentimes I will ask this, like, hey, have you ever been at a job where you just feel like it's kind of a dead-end job and you're not growing? And everyone's like, yeah. I mean, everyone's been there. Even probably a lot of you guys in high school, you had a job where you didn't really learn much. I did concessions and I loved it because of the people I was with. But I mean, what am I going to learn, Like, hey, this soda bip contains 20 gallons of syrup. Like, this CO2 is heavy. I mean, I learned that real quick. Like what? The pretzel tastes better if you spray it twice with butter, not once. Like, what am I learning? What are we, And you got to think about that. And this is kind of a cool thing when you step back. And this is where we all have to be appreciative of our prior sales experience. Like, all of us kind of have to be humbled by it. Like, you guys have had good experience, and when we have to recognize that. Vantage, I've got nothing bad to say about any of the companies you've been with, even after all the stuff that we've had. I think let's be grateful. Because we learned something. We learned a skill set, and people don't get that. And so I want people to understand when I'm sitting down with them, I say, hey, look, most people die. I use this quote every time, the one I used earlier. Most people die at age 26 and don't start stinking till 66. In your life, you're going to get a job where you're not growing, or you've already had that and you feel stuck. That's not it with me, okay? I want to provide you with a skill set. That's my goal. I want to provide you with a skill set to be able to provide for your family forever. If the economy tanks tomorrow, you'll know you'll be fine, because you can do it. Truth be told, we only get paid for value in this world. So McDonald's might think you're worth $10 an hour to them while they're making the big bucks up top, because they're providing value for society in whatever value that is. People like the fast food, convenient food, so they'll get it, And so I tell them that I'm going to give you a skill set. Okay. Also, we have a book club, so I always tell them that. Most people don't read books. I encourage you to do so. And people still don't read books. That's okay. I try to get all my reps to read books, okay? We have a monthly book, all right? Book of the month. Let's get you reading that, okay? We do finance books. I want to help you be better with your finances. We do books on selling skills. We do books on self-development just to make you a better person, family life. I want to teach you to be better in every aspect of life. That's why you work with me, okay? And so now it's like a selling point. And it's not like, I don't know if anyone ever has said that to you guys in your recruiting meetings. I've never heard that. You know what I mean? I never heard that. So when I do that with people, it's different. All of a sudden now we have an edge. Okay. Well, why would I work with, Vivint, and why would I work with Vantage, and why would I work with Excite, and why would I work with Simulcast? And then Simulcast has this well, that's why. It's these 4 things. That's why. And that's what I want people to think about. Okay. Mental. You're going to learn and grow. My third is social emotional. So I go, hey, Social, that's going to keep you at the job. And I actually do use, on this one, I use my experience, my vast experience at concessions, because I worked with a buddy and I loved the job because of the people I worked with. I didn't learn anything, but I loved it because I worked with good people. And so I just tell them this, okay, with social emotional, you are the average of your 5 closest associates. And I don't know what that looks like to you, but that might be scary, you know? I like to get around people who have successful families, they have successful bank accounts, and they know what they're doing with their life and how to get their goals. You are now going to be surrounded with people who do that. Like, we have reps in this company that hit the goals that they want. They're the people that they want, and their life is by design, not by default, okay? You need to surround yourself with them. Also, a key to happiness is your ability to socialize and gain relationships. What better skill set is there? I will teach you to do that, to be able to get out of your comfort zone, to make new connections, like to have relationships and to be able to sell yourself. That's important, okay? The social emotional is important. And then I put in the fun aspect, okay? We have more fun. We do. Like, our summer's gonna be way fun. Our blitz trips, way fun. You know, so our incentives are great. Dinner goals, that's when I put that stuff in, okay? And then last, spiritual. So I just say spiritual, that's gonna keep you at a job as well. Think about this, and I hit this, people outside of Utah. People in Utah, I mean, you can reference the mission. Say, obviously, you were doing something meaningful out there. You paid $10,000 to do it, but it meant something to you. And now you're here, you're back, and you don't have quite that same purpose. I'm not saying that we're gonna be out just preaching all the time, but I feel like this is something meaningful, and here's why. Okay, part 1. So why TV? I don't worship TV by any means, but I've been able to now go into people's houses, save them money on their bill, help them call and cancel, whatever it is. Like, I can help them to do that. And I tell my recruits that, like, I help people save money every day. I really did struggle at Vivint at times because I would get calls that broke my heart, quite frankly. Like, hey, my doorbell camera's not working. I trusted you. Like, I don't feel safe in my house anymore. I feel like my last alarm was better. I hated that. Like, that broke my heart so bad. It would ruin me. I literally bageled every day I got a call like that. I don't think I ever sold on a day when I had that because I didn't believe in it anymore. I am proud to say, like, I have never had a call like that. Hey, I don't feel safe in my home. My TV's not on, you know, like, oh my gosh, I don't have the right channel package. You know, I can't explain enough. 5-year contract, what have you done to me? Like, no one says that. It's TV, you know, and I love that. I love that. I feel like when I go into somebody's house, I make their life better. I make them smile. We have a good time. I'll help them with their bill. I'll go the extra mile afterwards to help them so that I know I'm doing something good. The sell itself is good, okay? It's a good sell. It's not a scam. It's not a hoax. It's DirecTV. Everyone knows it. It's already legit. So I'm doing something meaningful for them. But more importantly, where my spiritual falls into line is what we're doing here right now. And I tell recruits, like, where I find meaning and what gets me motivated in the morning is helping you be a better individual. And that's it. Like, that's where I get it. And I would like for you to do the same thing. When you give back, your life has meaning. Obviously, if I can help you go out and make a bunch of money, and if you're giving back, you're gonna feel good. Maybe more important though, is if you can take somebody who doesn't know how to pay the bills and doesn't know how to provide and doesn't know what they're good at, and you can give them a skill set, there's nothing more valuable than that. There's not. And for me, that is something that's worth it. And that's why I do what I do, and I tell them that. So that's why I do what I do, and I have the 4 things written out, you know? Okay, that's why you'll work with, and now I get assumptive, you know? That's why you'll work with me. Okay, and that's why we're gonna have a good relationship, and that's what I did with TB big time. It was just like, hey, you know, this is why you're gonna work with me. And I told him, I'm gonna teach you everything I know, and I'm gonna help you get where I'm at, and that's why you're gonna work with me. You know, and it wasn't 2 days later, you know, 3 days later. Well, I went to my conference, I learned more with 20 minutes with you than I did 2 days with them, so let's do it. You know, it is what it is, but, so I do that, okay, that's why you're gonna work with me, and I still pull back. I still do pullbacks after that, you know. Maybe this is too tough, you know, maybe. But if you're telling yourself that, like, life is gonna be too tough as well, I would like to help you find another way, okay? And then I ask them their goals. So I do it reverse. I don't do goals first. Then I ask goals, like, talk to me, man. Let's have a discussion. What do you want to accomplish in life? In 5 years, where do you see yourself? And they'll tell me something. So let's just use an example, like one of you, and be genuine with it. Like, where do you want to be in 5 years? Anyone? Lance, actually. 5 years, what does that look like for you?
5 years, have 5 rentals under my belt.
Love it.
Have 5 years, 2 kids.
Cool.
Have a relationship with my wife.
Okay.
Just a happy lifestyle. Doesn't matter where I work, as long as I'm happy.
Okay. Time with that money, you can take time off. You don't have to come into the office. You can take your wife on trips, and that helps. Okay, those are things that are going to help you, and I know it. I appreciate you sharing this with me and being genuine with it. Can I help you reach your goals?
Yeah.
Thanks. I take that seriously. I'll keep you on track, I promise. Come Monday, let's get you started, okay? Let's do this. And then boom, and see, like I got real serious there, and it's like, let's do it. And it's a very special moment for me, and I mean it. Like, and now I have this written down, and I have your name by it. So now I know your goals. You know what I mean? So I just tricked you. But I want to help you guys hit these. Like, this is real life. Okay. When you hit these goals, you go out and sell. Yes, I do better too. If you guys were where I'm at, perfect. That'd be perfect to me. Or if you go out and you succeed in big ways with things you want to do, perfect. That's perfect for me. Because now I have done something with my life. You know, I've done something better. And I've helped you guys realize that life, and I'm being real with this, like life is what you make it. Like there's a lot of preconceived notions, but it's an interesting thing. Like I have found that when someone says life sucks or this is hard or whatever, that's actually more of a reflection of them. It's more of a reflection of what they're like, what's going on in their minds and their hearts, and it's not the way the world really is. And to give you an example, we live in the most privileged country ever. Like we have everything to be grateful for. And we still wake up some days and think like, man, life sucks. And you think about some people who have nothing literally outside of the US, and they just think life is so good because I woke up this morning. Like life is so good because my dad's still here. You know what I mean? Life's so good because I have 2 parents. Like, and that's just stuff we take for granted. Life is so good because I have running water. Like I was able to shower today. You know? So the way that we see the world is how the world really is. So we can change our paradigm. We really can. And you can actually be that instrument for somebody else, helping them see the world differently. There's not anything more valuable than that. There's not anything that you should get paid for more than that. Okay? There's a lot of missionary work that you can do in it. There's helping people find God. Like it's fantastic that we have this. And I get to do it every day and I get paid for it. It blows my mind. And I appreciate you guys for making that happen. There's a lot of good that's going into this, okay? So that is my sit down. I go over the 4, I go over goals, pull back, get them to training day 1. Hey man, it's gonna be a long journey. It's gonna be hard. These are big goals. 5 rentals in 5 years is big time. We got to get started right now. You know, like you got to have a big summer. But can it be done? Yes, it can. It can. So then retention, expansion, just talking about some of these things really quick. What it is, so it's not a revolving door industry. That's a myth. It's really a myth that people say, and I hate it. Churn and burn is not real to me. So I think this group, so point 2, finding what we love, I feel like there's a lot of extremists, like extreme sport people here. Like we like extreme sports. It just feels like that's Like snowboarding seems like a cool thing. Snowmobiles. I think that skydiving. I think that can be a theme for us, where we can go out and just do like adventurous stuff. Play pickleball. No, I'm just kidding. But I do love pickleball. That's right. Monday morning we'll be there. But really, I think that should be a theme for this group, and really a theme for the company. Just some high adventure stuff. So find what your guys love and do it. Incentives, throwdowns. Give your reps a day off. I mean, these are just some examples. One-on-one meetings per month. So I like that. We're just like, you can kind of get together and say, hey, how's this going? How's your goals? How's your family? Like, what's up? I do that a lot over the phone. We'll just touch base here and there. And I do that on purpose. And then, as far as expansion goes, this is kind of some advanced training. A lot of you guys, this is not applicable, but you got to think of these things as you grow. So spending your time doing like the most effective things, train reps who'll be able to do what you do, pay them well. That's how you kind of get your economies of scale in place. And then I think this second point, give recruits to top performers. So I don't take and train reps very much anymore. I used to, and it was cool because I make more money that way, but I actually like giving them to performers. So that's been the best change, and that actually has caused us to expand in accounts a lot. A lot of dealers want to keep the accounts underneath because, I get paid way better. Like on a new rep, I get paid awesome. But if I can pay an override and I can pay somebody to grow, I will do that. So I actually do like tucking reps. And so earn that, and you will be getting reps from me. I have people reach out all the time. I really do. People reach out in Texas. Like if there's people positioned in these markets or can do blitz trips, like yes, you're getting guys. Like it is what it is. But then just clean accounts, obviously. Like be willing to cut out fraud. It's hard at first, it really is. I had some guys who were doing phenomenal volume and could have kept them, and it was like making me look really good, but I knew that it would just be coming back. Fired them. The accounts are coming back. I'm getting charged on them. But I'm glad they're not with me anymore, and then save up an emergency fund. That's huge. So if you guys want to really grow big, have some money to play. Because like then you can do, even though that's a super extreme example, I would never pay for someone's like truck payment, but then you do, if you have the money, like you can play. So I can play, I can play the game. I can get people out on cool blitzes. But rather than giving money to somebody to get them on, it's better to give money to the people that you have now. So like now that you guys are in the door, you're working, you're sacrificing for me, I'm gonna sacrifice for you. That's when I can throw down. So we can get cool housing, fun trips, the cruise, the company cruise, 150 accounts. I think you guys missed that, but we'll go on a cruise, all inclusive. Like we'll go on an excursion together, free, it's gonna be dope, That's really it, my final notes. It's about 3:25. I have like 5 principles that I can go over, my best. I say we take a break before it. I'll hit those and then we'll be done. We'll just be done. But let's go over some best practices of that segment as well, because I know that was a ton to take in. I just like threw my systems at you and it's like, so let's talk about it a little bit. Break it down. Takeaways. Yeah, so the chain where I learned these from, go figure, it was Casey as well, but he got them from Todd, who got them from the Harvard Business School head. His name's Clayton Christensen. He wrote Power of the Everyday Missionary, and he wrote a book that I love called How Will You Measure Your Life. And so these principles they're like super, super good. I just got to find them on my phone, and so this is one I don't want to miss. I want to make sure that I give it to you exactly 100%, because it's changed mine for sure. So I'm going to write them down first. So all this fluff, Riley, could be taken out of the video until this is actually written down, and then we'll just talk about it. And definitely, this is my best, like I said, best of the best secrets. So definitely write this down. This will help your life. It'll put money in your pockets immediately. So and some of them are biblical in nature, which I think, that's the greatest way to go. Obviously, the true principles come from the good word, and all truth comes from God. So This is some true stuff. You should have brought them. Didn't bring your dang skis. Out of 10, gratitude. I'll do gratitude list. That's right. Handwritten note. Okay. All right, I am ready. Okay, so these are my cheat codes for life. Here, I guess we can get this. I don't know how to, is there a way to just close that up? Yeah. What side's this on? Here, can you help me with that? You just put it in there. Sorry, Dane, I can't work your projector lens. Yeah, we're done with this, so. Okay, so here's my cheat code for life, guys. I'll hold this sign. So these are them. So 1, we'll start with principle 1. Let me make sure this is on. And I'll sit down too, just so you can see it better. So, this is it, the big hitters. So, philosophy of the ant. Kind of weird, but essentially in life, I feel like we do complicate things. You know, we complicate our roles, our responsibilities, and this job we especially do. You know, when you look at ants and how they operate, everyone has a role. They have a responsibility. It's very simple. They don't try to reinvent the wheel. They do their job, and they do it extremely well, and they're efficient. I've never seen an ant take a day off. I've never seen a lazy ant. Like, they just are constant motion all day, every day. And we need to have that same urgency all throughout the summer and all throughout our lives, really. Like, that urgency needs to be there, like we're working for the winter. And think about the benefits of like early retirement. You could be with your family more, like you could do a lot more good. So I don't know. I mean, sometimes people look at it a little differently. The money's nice, but what you could do with it, I almost think of that as being like the hibernation period. You know, you got to store up. That's why. So don't get lost in the rat race of making money. Like, have a reason for it. You know, work like you're working for the winter.
Serve the queen, do your job.
Serve the queen, do your job, and that's right. Anyone who's married, man, you know, you gotta work and provide for the queen. Yeah, that's right. The B philosophy. So that's pretty much it. I try to kind of consider that throughout my day to day as, hey, am I doing the most productive thing? Am I helping others out? Am I contributing to society as a whole? And I like that philosophy a lot, the philosophy of the ant. And then just like I said, especially that work ethic that they have. I mean, we do need to emulate those things. And I feel like a lot of the greatest lessons are natural. We see them in you know, like outside, the outside world. You just see, you see a lot of lessons and principles. So it's kind of cool that we can learn. We can learn that. I think that's about it for that principle. Principle 2, law of the farm. So all of the lessons in life that matter most are farm laws. And what I mean by that is, if you took, let's say some things on the farm that have to be done every day, like milking a cow even, you know, let's say you've got a whole ranch, you've got the cow, the cow has to be milked. Like, you can't go a day without milking a cow. Like, that has to happen. You can't cram study on the farm. You can't wait and then plant seed 3 weeks before it's supposed to come up. Like, it doesn't work. You have to, everything has a time and everything has a season. Your family is the same way. So you can't just like cram study like you do in school, you know, like law of college. You can't do that with your family. Your family is what we call a farm law. If you want to build a lasting relationship, it takes time. And you have to go through the right steps. And it's the same thing with building a proper business and the proper company. You can't just cram study. It doesn't work. It might might seem like somebody else is doing that, and it might seem like they're having success. I promise it's short-lived. Okay, I've seen some people come and go that seemed like they were doing a lot better than I was, but I'm grateful that I took the time. Okay, all the things that matter most in life, just remember that they're farm laws. There's things that have to be done every day for success, and so I hope that you guys can do that. This one is sweet. The law of averages I've talked about before. Okay, but a true professional can man, I wish I could think of the words today. I don't know why that has slipped my mind. Anyway, they know what their income is going to be. So a true professional knows what they're going to make, even in a job that's inconsistent. And how you can do that is by finding out your ratios. So the reason why I have new reps do that is because I want them to become professionals as well. For instance, if I talk to 10 qualified homeowners, let's say I'm a new rep, I talk to 10 qualified homeowners, I get in 3 homes, I run 2 of those, I qualify 2 of them, and I close 1. I know now my ratio is 1 in 10. So I have to talk to 10 qualified people to get 1 sale. Also, I know where I need to sharpen up. And so I know, hey, what if I got a little bit better at my closing? Maybe I can I get in 3 houses, but I'm only closing 1. What if all 3 that I get in, I close? And then all of a sudden your ratio for closing is now 3 out of 10, which is way, way better. You know what I mean? It's a way better ratio. And so you can get that to a percentage. Now you can work backwards. If your ratio is 1 in 10, you know that you now need to talk to 100 people that week to make 10 sales. 100 qualified people is going to give you 10 sales. What happens if you talk to 150? 15 sales. 200, 20 sales. Like, you know your ratios and you know when you're getting better. Also, that's going to help you guys know if you're in a market that's working or not. Like, you're going to know. So if you're in a market and you're 1 for 20, but your ratio everywhere else is 1 in 10, maybe it's time to move hoods. Maybe, but that's the only reason why people can move hoods. The law of averages will make you successful. So people don't write down ratios. They don't track their performance. If you track your performance on anything, let's say you want to lose weight, like, get out a notebook and write down everything that you eat. Write down the calories, like, find out how much the calories are. And you'll be amazed. You actually stop eating bad because you just don't want to get out the notebook, or, I used to like spending. I did this for my spending because I found out I was dropping the cash just on little things, meals a lot. I just like buy meals all the time. So you get out the notebook and you'll actually be amazed. You just like don't want to buy it because you don't want to get out your dumb notebook. But it's like you've got to write things down and get averages. So on average, a ratio, like this is my success rate. And that way, like I said, if you need to do you could work it backwards. If you need to make 150 sales and your ratio is 10 or 1 out of 10, okay, now you know how many people you need to talk to that summer. So you know that you need to talk to 1,500 people that are qualified. And then guess what happens? It's really a cool, unique perspective switch. When you talk to somebody, you mark that 1 and you just say, hey, 9 more and I've got a deal. Like, it's really kind of cool. And then boom, 2, 3. And sometimes by 6 or 7 o'clock, you don't have a deal and you're thinking, man, why don't I have a deal? And then you look at your paper and it's like, oh man, my ratios have been terrible. I have been knocking a bunch of doors and I've only talked to 6 people. I got to be better at like prospecting. My prospecting sucks. I've only talked to 6 people by 6, but my ratios are still intact, So law of averages is huge. I started doing that with Vivint and it was cool. That was when I started breaking some double digits, was just doing that. So that was when it got pretty fun. There was a couple weeks there I did pretty good. I had one where it was like, the weekend was like 2, 2, 3, 4. So it was sweet. Like, I had a really good weekend. So just because that law, which in alarm world is actually kind of a big deal. But with TV, I did the same thing and I actually got my ratios. If I knock a dish, it's game over. So like when I go out and I dish hunt, it's pretty good. So if I talk to somebody, like they answer the door, I'm 9 for 10, like I am in. So that's kind of fun. And then if I'm just out knocking, including people I don't talk to, I'm 1 for 4. So on dishes in the small country of outside of Houston, I'll rip those up. So as far as in the city, it's more like 1 for 11. So just city knocking, finding cables in downtown Houston. So the law of the 7th day. Oops, just kidding. The law of 2 creations. Let's go over that. So we've talked about goals a ton, so I'm not going to beat a dead horse. But the law of 2 creations, I think about this spiritually as well. So the earth was created spiritually before, physically. There was a plan. And I think of, the difference between making a skyscraper and making a tree house. Like, I don't know if any of you ever went out and tried to make a tree house when you were a kid. You just kind of slap stuff together, or just little forts even. You try to go make a fort, and it's just, when you think about a skyscraper, how that is built, they know down to every inch, like, what's happening. And they know exactly, they have a plan before they ever start construction. They know exactly what's going where, and that needs to be our lives as well, because it's going to happen. It's going to happen by design or default. Okay, I say that a lot, but your life will be created whether you want it to or not. So let's at least design our lives and craft our lives. Okay, get it. And it's the same with your summer as well, and your blitz trips and anything else like that. If you create it beforehand and you plan beforehand and you have everything ready to go, you get out there and you execute. And it actually gives your reps some vision. And I love that quote I've used a couple times too, you know, where there's no vision, the people perish. So there needs to be vision, okay? And then the last one is the law of the seventh day. So when the earth was created, 6 days, okay? There was labor going on 6 days, and I'm sure it was pretty intense. I'm sure it was rigorous. I'm sure there wasn't a lot of time off. Like, it was go time. Wasn't a lot of distractions. But the seventh day, there was rest. I do not work on Sunday. Like, I just don't. I don't touch it. I don't even respond back to texts. I don't do it. And I'm telling you, that is one of the huge secrets to my success. Like, I don't work on Sunday. And not just because that's a religious belief, which it is to me, you know, keeping the Sabbath day holy is very important, but it's because, like, you need a day to reset. And the office is closed on Sunday anyway, so it's a perfect day to take. It's like naturally built into our company. You don't have to work Sunday. I get it. If you want to get out and get leads and do things like that, I get it. I get it if you're struggling. I understand if I get it. But for me, I feel like this is a good cheat code for life to live by, because it's enticing to do work on Sunday, or whatever seventh day is for you guys. Like, but Sunday is my day, and I don't work. So on that day as well, so this is a good day to do, I'm going to give you guys a challenge for your seventh day. So it's called the Hour of Power, and you can take an hour, be completely alone. So it's like Sacred Grove time, like be just completely alone. Okay, that's a time for reflection. You can pray, meditate, read your scriptures, write in your journal. Think about how the week went, and do this in the summer. It's super cool. Like, it's really, really, really refreshing in the summertime. But I just take an hour and I'd go over, how am I doing? You know, how did I do this week? What did I do wrong? What could I work on better? You know, and then recommit. You kind of just recommit to yourself, to your goals. Focus on your top 10. You know, maybe make changes to them if you need to, but I love that, and I do that on the seventh day. So I take an hour of power, and it's a cheat code for sure. It gets me refreshed. And then Mondays come, and I'm super, super effective on Mondays. You know, because it's, instead of like that groggy, oh, I hate Mondays. I love Mondays. I'm like, booyah, it's Monday. Let's go. It's like a karate kick out of the bed. And
I look forward to Mondays.
yeah, I do. I really do. But when I work on Sunday, which admittedly before, you know, when I first started simulcast, I'd make texts just because I thought it was so important. Things were critical. I had to make texts. And I just felt really sluggish, and my week wasn't as good, you know. And so I never ever work on Sunday anymore. And I did really good with Vivint not doing it either, but I figured I was big and important, and I'm like, and it was just not good. So never too important for your morals and your standards, you know. Nothing's worth compromising that. And then these are my Contra codes. So, you know, in Contra, you type in the Contra or Konami code, and you get 40 lives in Contra, you know, like that. This is my ultimate cheat code. I've gone over top 10 already. That is just the best way to refocus your life. Gratitude list, I haven't touched, but gratitude, so we have so much to be grateful for, it's insane. I mean, we really do. And sometimes we just get so focused on the wrong things that this will refocus you. So every day I go over some gratitude list stuff, couple principles, just like, so, and there's two different ways I do it. So sometimes I just go through a long streak where I'll do 2 things every day, and they have to be different. So you like get ridiculous ones, but it's fun because it makes you think. Like, I'm grateful for, today I'm grateful for running water, like a toilet that works, you know, just whatever. It's just, I'm grateful today that I don't have stressful girl problems, you know, whatever. So it's kind of fun. Just whatever it is in your life that you're grateful for. Or if I'm like kind of down in the dumps, I just do like an ultimate gratitude blast. And I just I just get out a paper and I take like 3 minutes and I just, what am I grateful for? And that obviously can be repeat, but then I pull it out. I just pull out everything I'm grateful for. And then all of a sudden the world isn't, oh, poor me, because it's really not, you know what I mean? We have a really good life. And then the last one is just like making handwritten notes. So I've fallen out of the practice a little bit of this, so I'm gonna get back into it. But just like a handwritten note has a lot more power to it, and you can write a note to your wife, to your parents, grandparents, whatever. But just handwritten notes, like we live in such a media-driven world that they pack a lot of power, and it kind of helps you feel better. I don't know. So, order yourself. That's cool. Yep. Write a letter to yourself. That's good. Yep. So.
Handwritten note for referrals is really good too. Thanking them for their business, that's for referrals.
Oh yeah, I definitely. So every sale I leave a handwritten thing with. Thank you for your time in business. I appreciate you. So yeah, the handwritten notes to yourself though, I like that. Middle of summer, you can write it. End of summer, but
I like to write them at the
beginning, I mean.
periodically, so then
Yep.
what you were thinking at the beginning of the summer happened in the summer. You're like, oh man.
Yeah, just kind of a gut check. I like that. Yeah, so that's what the seventh day thing's designed to do as well. Just gut check weekly, so you can, I don't know, it's kind of like the classic example of the power line. You start drooping down, but if you have another post closer, you don't droop down as far. So the posts are clear out, it droops clear down, and you have like low lows before you get back on track. But if it's weekly, they're just little dips, Then you get back on track, then you just start killing it. So that is my conference. Okay, that's it. We're done. So, booyah. So, thank you. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate you coming out. Okay?